in it. I don't like it when it's got letters. That's just made up shit. All right.
I don't even get what E. What does it even mean though? For real, what does that mean? I still don't know what that means. E equals MC squared.
Isn't that the relativity of time?
Oh, fucking no.
Isn't that what that is?
Shit. Oh,
or is that
beyond me?
Theory of relativity? And that the whole basis of
isn't
time travel is knowing that, like, is the theory that time is only relative to the I guess the gravity with which it resides. So like things are like time slows down near a black hole, but it speeds up.
Oh yeah. Time, yeah. I know all about that.
Or no, it speeds up around a black hole, but from the outside observer, it slows
from the outside
down.
it would look really slow, right?
I think is the meme. Yeah.
Oh, that's the meme.
Something about that. I've watched Interstellar. I know what I'm talking about.
I've seen one movie on fucking space travel and time travel.
I actually made an edit of that scene where like Matthew McConaughey's sitting there watching all of the backlogs of his daughter's tapes that she sends him over the years.
Yeah.
I watched that and I was like, wow, that's powerful. So then I edited the same thing and I put it in there with like a bunch of Alex Jones clips. Like he was crying as Alex Jones revealed the truth of the world to him, And then I was like, I'm never gonna put this up anywhere. it was like he starts crying as like he starts spitting the really hard truths that nobody fucking like all the weird shit.
How to ruin such a great moment in a great movie.
I was like, I watched it, I was like, people have done this way better and in a different way, and it was not original. I was like, I'm not gonna put it up.
You tried.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah. All right, you want to hear some local shit? I don't have any. I went through the Twitter thing, and nobody sent in any good stuff to talk about in terms of therapy. So I'm not going to have any Ask Sam advice section or whatever. I need to come up with a name for this thing. And so we'll skip over that. But I do have a fucking great little bit of info that I think I want to show you guys. All right, so recently, former mayor of Tallahassee, that's where I'm from, Tallahassee, our former mayor, Andrew Gillum, allegedly make sure to put allegedly.
Big bold text, allegedly.
Big bold text. And wait, he's the editor. Let's make it weird. Make sure to put allegedly with fire around it.
Make sure it's flashing, too.
Flashing.
Yeah.
Do a neon sign that says allegedly with me naked on top of it. Okay, allegedly, he was caught in a hotel room with some bros, right? And what adds credence to the fact that he did this is, well, I'll describe that later. So anyways, he was fucking dogs barking. Hold on a second.
It's interrupting the fucking podcast, dude. Did you kill the dog?
No, I didn't kill the fucking dog. Dog's barking in the backyard, like right in my goddamn ear. And then I come back and I let her in. And there's a FedEx guy in my front yard. And so I let her inside. She starts barking like a madman. Wakes up my fucking daughter, who's now like sitting in there in the crib going, what the hell's going on? She'll fall back asleep. She's only been asleep for like 45 minutes. I hard scoped her into the crib right before I started this.
Actually launched her across the room.
So anyways, so Andrew Gillum checked himself. This isn't the alleged part. Andrew Gillum checked himself into a hotel room, right? He was caught in a hotel room with two guys. Okay. You need to see these fucking guys.
I want to see them.
I'm gonna send them to you in a DM.
Is there gonna be like a pop-up on podcast of these guys?
Yes. All right, this is guy number 1.
Okay, bro number 1. Oh, Jesus Christ.
And this is bro number 2.
Oh, wait. Is that the same guys just together?
It's there was 2 guys in there. I'm not sure if those are the 2 guys, but that's one of the guys.
Okay.
And now, as you can see, I'm gonna give these a stall so we can put them up in the fucking picture frame. As you can see, that's not the type of guy that you want to be found in a fucking hotel room with if you're a former mayor of a town. So anyways, he was found in there with 2 hunky, sexy guys, right?
Yeah.
And one of them was ODing on methamphetamine.
What the fuck?
And they also found a giant bag of methamphetamine.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then to add, now this is the whole allegedly thing. These are people that allegedly that he was with in the hotel room, and but the meth was, I think, a fact, because then to add credence to it, he checked himself into rehab. You know, you don't check yourself into rehab if you're just hanging out with some bros in a fucking hotel room. Yeah. No, I need some bro rehab. You know, okay. So, but my point of view is, it's one thing. It's one thing to go check into a hotel room with some hunky dudes and let them do hunky dude shit on your ass, right? That's fine. I don't have a problem with that, Mr. Gillum.
Go for it, Gillum.
Go for it, dude. Whatever you want. You know, it's your world. It's your butthole. Ruin it. I don't care.
It's your
but
talent.
Meth?
It's just too
like,
far.
Like a couple bros going freaky on your booty with some pot, I'm okay. But meth?
Meth.
This guy is already jacked to hell and back. This guy could go ape shit on your asshole like a silverback gorilla. Do you really want him on meth too?
Like, you'll just ruin fucking
Dude.
Gillum, dude. Gillum's gonna be done after this. He's gonna be fucking beat.
We'll be able to put that theory of relativity into place on his fucking asshole,
dude,
when he turns into a black hole.
Dude, he's gonna need one of them fucking bags, dude. One of those bags on the
yeah,
ass.
one of those asshole bags.
Oh, Jesus.
Just to catch blood in a sack.
Yeah.
Under his
There's not
ass.
gonna be shit coming out of there anymore, man. It's gonna be ruined.
Jesus. And then not only just some meth, but enough to OD one guy.
What?
That's a fucked up mayor, man.
I mean,
He seemed like a pretty cool guy, though.
I mean, he's enjoying himself, right?
Yeah,
like,
he's just vibing.
He's vibing with the bros, like just getting railed by two fucking gorilla men on meth.
I showed Abby that guy, the pictures of the dudes, and then she was just like, "I wish my ass looked like that." She was like, "What's with these guys? They got like perfect onion booties."
So it's always the first comment from a woman.
Yeah,
They don't care about the meth.
no, they don't. She had no problem with the meth. It was just the fact that this man
I feel a nice plump ass.
was not only did he have a perfect onion booty, but a perfect onion booty on meth. Because meth heads are not known for their sexy bodies. They're always
you think of like a meth head, you think of like a skinny, frail little cretin
with his gums receding and everything.
Fucking no teeth, just fucking
definitely not an onion booty.
Definitely not one of these fucking hunky, beautiful, chunky little snacks.
Is it because they do squats? How do I get a nice ass?
I think you do like squats and stuff. Yeah, you really need some tips for this. Let's see if we can get them on the podcast.
Actually, you know what? To be honest, as a guy with a flat ass, if I had to do a bunch of squats, get a beautiful booty, but then I have to start standing up to wipe my ass, you can check me out of that shit. I ain't doing it. Not in a million years. I'll keep my flat booty. Thank you.
Come on, trade it. It's a good trade-off.
No, it's not a good trade.
It really is.
Uh-oh. Look, hold on. She's still standing expectantly at the edge of the crib waiting for me to come in.
It's a disaster.
When she's done with her nap, she just stands there with her hands on the edge of the fucking railing and goes, "Father. Father, it is time.
I've been waiting for you, Father.
I've been waiting. It is time now." All right. So anyways, we'll call this an end to the podcast, and in about 30 minutes, Abby will be home, and then we'll play some League.
Yeah. Poggers. That's how we react to Poggers.
Yeah. Fuck this waste of time. Yeah. So what exactly do you do where you fucking sleep all day?
Nothing.
You want to?
It never sounds good over Discord.
No,
it never sounds good.
Take this one, Jackson. 2 in a row, baby.
Hello, everyone at home. Welcome to this week's episode of the official podcast. You've got your usual slew of hosts here: Jackson, Andrew, Charlie, and Kaya. We're joined today by the quintessential gamer himself, Lawrence Sontag.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. What an introduction.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell us
this
about
was
yourself.
I thought there was gonna be like some
okay.
shilling or something in there. Yeah.
Oh, nothing, man. I'm living life. I got shit to shill. I'm just myself right now. So I don't know, man. I play video games on the internet like like everyone else. So feeling good. Got some. I guess I got half a toenail. That's exciting.
What happened there? Did you drop like dumbbell on it, getting swole or something in the home gym?
Man, I wish that would be way cooler than what actually happened. No, I was trying to install like a floor AC unit. This was like 6 months ago because toenails don't grow. Our bodies are weird. Anyway, there was like this sliding panel thing that you have to extend out to make it fill in the gap of a window. So you like close the window on it, and then the little exhaust hose goes in there. I was extending it to make it fit our window, and I screwed in this screw thinking that it was secure, and then I hold it out in front of me being the genius that I am. Apparently I didn't screw it in enough. The panel like falls out of the thing and just slices my toe. Yeah, it was the most painful thing I've ever done, and I do a lot of really dumb shit.
So you're missing half a toe or a toenail?
Toenail. The toenail turned like half black, which was pretty cool. And then like, I want to say like about a couple of weeks ago, I was going down to clip it, which is actually it's a very cathartic process because every time I shave a little bit off, my toenail becomes a little more normal. Except this time when I went to clip it, the black part just all fell off. Yeah, so now I've got like half a toenail. That's my exciting story. I've used it up. I'm just gonna sit here and go to sleep. Hope that's cool.
That's one of my biggest fears, though, is losing a toenail. Cause I don't, or a fingernail. Like, I don't know what it would look like underneath. A kid in like primary school, when I was in primary school, lost her toenail, her toenail, and I was watching it as it came off her toe, and it was the most PTS. It was like shocking. I did not like that at all, and from then on, it was like a major fear of mine that I just don't ever want to lose that. I don't want to lose that.
Did she just rip it off because she was hardcore? What happened?
Well, so she injured it, and it, like you said, it went all black and stuff, and it was loose, so it was like hanging off. And then she got like like the school nurse or whatever to come over, and the school nurse just fucking yanked it off her.
An expert.
Wow.
I guess
the
that's
nurse was
procedure.
hardcore.
Yeah, she had like 2 cigarettes in her mouth. She was doing dumbbell curls, and this girl walked in her room. Get over here! Wham!
The little girl starts crying. She just slaps her across the face.
Are you tough enough for the salty spittoon? It rips it off. It's fucking cool.
Have you guys
shoes on it? Just throws it in her mouth.
You guys haven't lost a fingernail? I used to have that happen when I was really young all the time. Like I lost my thumbnail, the middle fingernail multiple times. Yeah.
Well, it's not like your baby tooth. You're not meant to lose it.
Yeah, what the fuck? What
Well,
were we
growing up,
doing?
like stunts and shit. Like I used to have like, I don't know, like kind of an Evel Knievel career as a little kid. Like I'd go.
That's bullshit.
No.
You're talking about card tricks, like you're fucking magic.
Oh yeah, I'm losing my fingernails by doing
Talking
magic tricks. Yeah, that's what it is.
Probably.
I'd put like the I do like the shit you saw in Rocket Power, like you skateboard and you hold on to something as someone goes fast. So I'd like do that with someone on a bike, and I'd fall off and hit my hands and shit, and then the nails would turn black and come off. That shit happened all the time.
I can never say it's happened to me.
I feel what you're going through though, Lawrence. And to answer the question, what it looks like cartoon spaghetti underneath, because it's not smooth skin. It's like a brain, but skin colored.
You know when you have like like you're in water for too long, like in a swimming pool or something, and your fingers come out, and your fingers are all like.
That's what it looks like. That's a much better example.
Okay, so that's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's not too scary then.
Nails and teeth are somehow my biggest worries. You know, you guys know I go on fucking best score every once in a while.
Hello, Build the Earth.
All the cartel
How are you
executions,
doing?
and somehow still my biggest fear is losing a nail.
Today I'm actually
that's
working
gonna hurt
on
especially you know when you kind of like for a day or two you
creating
forget to trim it, and
these
you
apartment
have that ongoing
buildings.
fear that's gonna turn upside down.
Though
or
I don't
something,
speak
like
very
gonna
much.
invert it.
Wait,
It
hold on, what?
Yeah, I don't know about
It's
that.
gonna
One.
get
comes a
snagged on
duty
the
to
surface
speak
and,
to
like,
chat,
it's-
so yeah,
I don't know
whatever.
how to describe it right
You
now.
think
I
it
don't
would
know
just like
you
pop
saying
inside
by
out
watching.
on your finger?
It's gonna get
Yeah,
folded. No, not pop out, but like the
that's
tip of
very
it is
You
gonna
mean
get
it'll like grow
folded.
downwards?
Ah, I see. So it'll like hinge up like
Yeah.
a mousetrap.
Yeah. Oh god, just
Ooh,
thinking
I don't like
about it,
that.
it just fucking upsets me so much.
That's not a realistic fear. That
I
would
know.
Never happen.
Yeah, it's every time. Also, when I go to take a sip with a glass, I make such a conscious effort not to hit my teeth with the glass. it scares me so much. I have some sort of a phobia, I guess.
Well, that's just a bad sound in general.
Yeah.
If you're ever eating
It's a bad feeling.
With that clank on the teeth, man. If somebody at the table does that, everyone feels it. It's empathetic pain.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Charlie, I'd like to compare notes with you because when my toenail fell off, I did have the brain underneath. However, it has since kind of hardened into another toenail. The skin actually got really hard and like kind of chitinous. So I don't know what's going on there. Is that normal?
Yeah, no, it wasn't for me. My shit just looked like a brain for a long time. I think your body has like its own little X-Men mutation to it. It's fucking weird.
How does the nail grow back? Does it start from the bottom, and grow outwards? Yeah, so there's like a baby little nail down the bottom, slowly growing out.
The baby nail's kind of cool though. Like when it's coming in, I thought that was kind of fun of the healing process. Because you never get to see your nails grow like that, so it's like a really interesting peek behind the curtain.
So is that because you guys lost only part of your nails? Because if you go on YouTube, you can find plenty of videos of people taking, medical professionals removing somebody's entire toenail, for example, if they have like diabetes or something. So in that case, does it still grow back, or because you removed all of it, does it never grow back? Because when they remove it goes really deep, those nails. I didn't know that, but nails go deep into the finger and the toes.
They're like roots.
I can't speak for Lawrence, but I don't think I ever lost a full nail. It was only ever like bits and pieces of the nail, like sides of it, because it usually splits like vertically. So
mine split horizontally, but
really?
Same thing. Yeah, because the thing I dropped on it was like a guillotine, basically. It just chopped like directly perpendicular to my toe.
You executed
Jesus,
toenail. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Basically. Hell yeah. Somebody's with like a leaf blower right outside my door.
You can hear him working.
I was about to ask.
Blowing all the virus away. Hell yeah, dog. Dude's doing me a favor out there.
Thanks to Discord's compression,
Blow drying into your window.
it sounds like a symphony orchestra too. Thanks to Discord.
Oh yes, also I love classical. I refuse to do anything without listening to my favorite symphonies. So, again, apologies in advance about that, but it calms my nerves.
So it's kind of nice though that in this day and age with the fucking quarantines and everything, somebody is still prioritizing his garden, right?
Yes.
I need this to look nice. Let me leaf blow this bitch.
It's too much grass. What's happening?
I've seen that a lot actually. Like a lot of people like are now walking around much more than I've ever seen. Like when I look out my window, I see a lot more foot activity than I'm used to seeing.
Do you think it's because there's so much conversation going on about being isolated that they start thinking they're isolated? And so they want to get out more?
I mean, I can't speak to the psychology of the bath salts addicts in my area, but I feel like it's just the thing of got nothing else to do. It's all closed.
Makes sense.
What about you, Lawrence? How has your life changed since quarantine?
That's the thing, and I've wondered a lot about this, and I don't know to what degree I should feel guilty about it, but pretty much my life hasn't changed at all. I've just been sitting inside and playing video games as usual.
Yeah.
I guess the social media cycle is a little more depressing than it usually is, which is a feat to some degree. But no, man. I guess the bigger thing was I did have a couple of work projects lined up after. Wow, he's going in on it.
I'm sorry, could you talk again? The Tron cycle's taking off.
He fired in the afterburners on that one. That was like an aggressive blowing.
I saw there's like Transformers fighting in the background.
Got the high octane gas today. What the hell, man? Like that never happens. This is usually actually a very quiet place.
He's blowing diesel fuel just for the fun of it right now.
You should go out there and scream at him. Tell him that you're recording a podcast.
The internet's happening in here. You should calm down.
This poor man, like laboring under the sun, working for minimum wage or whatever.
Just open the window and yell at him like, dude, I'm privileged. I get to work from home. Shut it off.
I'm still earning revenue in here. That was
so
kind of
mean.
right. I guess I could just call it an air quotes prank video and make a lot of money on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
give him like $10.
Yeah, that's right. I could break double digits. That's very exciting. I did have some other projects lined up, but those have all just kind of got put on the back burner, which to me is fine. I guess on the grand scale, I'm kind of on a work vacation right now. I'm just sitting at home and playing video games all day on Twitch, which to me is like barely qualifies as work. I guess mostly because I have yet to hit any kind of critical mass of popularity that makes it difficult to manage. But yeah, man, same old thing, really. I'm just playing a lot of video games and making a lot of YouTube thumbnails and editing a lot of shit. But that was my usual anyway, so I'm feeling. I hate to say it because I know some people are suffering, and I wish I could feign some amount of sincere solidarity.
For full disclosure, today it's March 30th, and we're recording at noon Eastern. So yeah, it's not looking good. You know, for
for me, I'm from 2035, so but still March 30th. So I guess still accurate.
Lawrence is from the future.
Yeah. The computers here are awesome, but nothing else is.
So, Lawrence, are you generally speaking, are you an introverted person? Have you noticed much of a difference socially?
Oh, well, yeah, I guess I never went outside anyway, so it works out. There's been a couple of things a couple of events that would have happened. Like, basically, I did notice when I went self-employed that my social activity started to drift. So yeah, I would like contact people and make plans to just go get coffee or something, or if they had a job, if they were one of those suckers that still had a job, I would go meet them for lunch or something like that. Yeah, like the guy out here with the leaf blower. I'm sure we'll talk in a month or so.
Go out for coffee, yeah.
Yeah, it's just nice to catch up.
He'll bring his leaf blower with him. Maintain the Starbucks.
He'll just be idling in the Pete's Coffee lobby. No, that hasn't changed all that much. I guess there have been a few productions that we've had to shift around to make producing remotely, but you know, you're on the internet, you're kind of used to that thing, and for all the things that I ever produce, I'm used to it all being a nightmare logistically anyway. So going from being in person to being remote is not that big of a shift, really. I kind of accidentally made every life shift that I needed to about 6 months before this happened. To the degree of I even have a gym in my garage now because I didn't want to go anywhere.
Nice. So, almost like you were aware that this was going to happen, Lawrence.
Exactly. Like I have.
That's a scary thought.
I have a refrigerator with a leaf blower taped to it that I crawl inside and travel back through time in.
Yeah, I said it before. I'm never going to make fun of preppers again.
Yeah,
turns out those guys probably were right. Now, everyone is saying, "Oh, well, why weren't you prepared for it?" Yeah, well, because like 2 days ago we were making fun of preppers, right? And we were calling them paranoid lunatics for hoarding food and toilet paper, and now look at us. Now we're calling each other idiots for not hoarding it. Well, maybe they were right.
Yeah, the toilet paper one I still don't get behind, but the other supplies, I do get it now.
Or stocking up on spoilable food. People had like stacks and stacks of bananas. Ugh. I don't get that. Yeah, why didn't people go for like dry foods and like instant breakfast powder and stuff like that?
You know,
I don't get toilet paper at all. Just shower. It's so easy.
Well, I think their fear is more so the water gets shut off.
That too. Jackson, plus
use milk or something.
So Jackson, as you know, I've been vindicated. First of all, Lawrence, these guys, they made fun of me plenty of times because what I do is I shit, and then every time I shit afterwards, I have to shower. I wipe myself, I make myself very clean, but then I also do at least a lower body shower. Otherwise, I don't feel right. I feel not whole.
Do you aim the nozzle down? Okay.
Yeah. Wait. How do you do that? I just have a full shower.
No, just your
lower body. I think he doesn't
body.
stand under the full beam, right?
Yeah.
He just like spreads his cheeks and backs it up.
I have a shower head that I can move, so I can hold it in my hand and then just apply it to whatever body part I want. Yeah, so...
Well, just buy a bidet then. That sounds like you just...
No, bidets don't do the same thing as
using a bidet.
Full shower, Jackson. It's just not the same. See, this is why this virus is spreading, because people like you are spreading disinformation and misinformation, doing Xi Jinping's handiwork, telling people that a bidet is the same thing as a lower body shower. No
what
wonder
kind of
people
shower
are
head
dying.
do you have, by the way, Kaya? Because I have a movable shower head as well, but mine... Like, if I aimed it at my butthole, it would only hit my cheeks. Like, I can never get it, like, down the center. Do you have, like, a jet stream shower head?
Do you have the kind where you can switch the stream type?
You have a variable shower head for ass cleaning.
No, it's not for ass cleaning. It's just
there's one for body, one for ass.
Yeah.
And a prankster can switch the labels on.
No, these are common. It's not a luxury, man. You can get these for like $2 on Amazon or something. It's a variable stream, so you can turn it from very sprinkled and spread to a single very high-powered jet stream, and that's the one I use for my ass, and then I also rinse with the spread stream. And then I do also another pass front to back. So my ass is always clean. I've said this before and I'll say it again, you can eat off of my ass. You will never catch coronavirus off of my butthole. So that's why I'm not sick.
Well, so you say eat off your ass, but I think it'd be more like eat from in your ass if we're tucking it up inside.
Yeah.
To really test the
whatever floats your boat. I'm not going to shame you for it.
I have one question regarding your technique. Do you choose different sprays based on the intensity of your morning ministrations, or is it always the beam?
No, so I go hardcore beam, the jet stream to power wash everything off, and then I rinse with the general low to medium strength, wider area stream. It's like a first person shooter. You guys play Doom, right?
Of course.
It's like you're choosing the shotgun versus the sniper rifle, so you have to pick your weapons for what you're doing.
Okay.
Just like in Doom.
To extend
Sometimes
that
you have to whip
then,
out the flamethrower.
I guess to extend that verbiage, then, are you worried about splash damage? Because if you're hitting yourself with a high intensity beam, there have to be shards flying off in every direction.
Kaya's just geysering poop particles on his shower curtain.
No, I make sure. So that's my issue with bidets, right? So because the bidets, it's a small targeted beam usually most of the time with most bidet types, which is... Have you guys ever seen infrared footage of people peeing? It's a weird question, I know, but...
Bit of a segue, but...
every weekend, yeah.
Is this an ad read?
Ever since the quarantine, that's all I do.
You guys know
Wait. How would that make any difference?
Or heat vision. No, my point is, you guys know those Predator movies where they turn on the heat vision and it shows like their victims in heat vision in the forest or something.
Yeah, but how would that make a difference? You're still just seeing a stream.
No, keep listening. So I once saw footage of somebody in the news where they were, studying the effects of a man's pee stream and how it sprinkles everywhere, even though it was like... We had this discussion before. You guys remember, like, peeing sitting versus peeing standing up, and they were trying to prove how peeing standing up sprinkles everywhere, and they were trying to prove this by using a heat vision camera. And it turns out, yes, that when you stand up peeing, even though you're nailing your pee stream right into the toilet bowl, there's, like, tiny sprinkles of piss that just get everywhere, basically.
Yeah, well,
so that's how I feel a bidet works.
It's more open. The toilet bowl's more open because there's not a body sitting on top of it. When you piss straight down, when you're sitting down, it probably splashes up and hits your ass cheeks and shit.
So that's my worry with the bidet is, okay, so you're having this little stream up against your asshole, so it kind of bounces off of the walls of the toilet and just sprinkles it back on your ass cheeks, right? That's why I take a full lower body shower, if not a whole full body shower. I completely decontaminate, rinse myself top to bottom, make sure I'm clean.
All right, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
See that somebody put it in our chat. UV light shows the unseen splashes created.
The spatters are impressive. Now I wonder if technique could improve this, because I feel like if you're hitting the surface of the water, the splash up and the dispersal must be more aggressive than if you're hitting the side of the bowl with a little ramp action.
That's kind of what I was wondering as well.
If you're bombing like a vert ramp, it has to be a little, maybe a little more. I feel like a good swirl, a good technique there might help.
But so I think hitting the side of the ceramic, I think hitting the side of the ceramic is something you do in other people's homes when you're a guest and you're kind of shy of making a noise, and hitting just the water is something you do in your own home. It's like an alpha monkey move, right? To show that you own the place and you can make a noise. Am I the only one?
I mean, you're absolutely right. My move is more if I'm in a restroom and somebody comes in on the phone. That's when I turn the beam directly into the water so that I get a really good waterfall sound. I want to make sure the person on the other end knows who they're talking to and where they are.
Is that Lawrence?
Is that leak blower or is that Lawrence in the bathroom? Good guy.
Is that the sonic signature of his piss hitting the water bowl?
before we get off topic, before we get off this topic though, Kai, I did want to ask: when you're blasting your ass, do you like angle it, or is it like a straight-on shot? How I'm curious of how you clean your ass with the joystick.
Are you asking if he penetrates himself?
Yeah, because if you do it straight on.
No, you don't want to do it straight on because again, then you want to minimize obviously the splash damage, the shrapnel. So you angle it downwards, but still in a way where it catches your asshole. But then it also in a way where it will not run down your balls. So if it helps for you, also cup your balls. But then always, as I said, always, this is necessary. Always do a front to back run. That always has to be the final run, the final finish, the polish.
Okay.
Do you get a group of judges in to judge your work every time, give you the stamp of approval?
I wish, man.
Certification process.
You know, the Olympics got canceled for this year, so I guess I got one more year to train.
Someone comes in with a rubber glove and a magnifying glass to inspect. 100%
They do a
shit
swab.
free.
Yeah.
Send it to the boys in the lab.
Speaking
of your lower half.
Oh,
sorry.
nice.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I was doing that exact same
No.
segue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, speaking of lower half and ass and everything, you're gonna need some better underwear, and MeUndies is the best. So I don't know if you boys know this, but recently MeUndies had this sale. This was like 6 months ago, way before they even knew what this podcast was. I spent like $250 on like 30 pair of MeUndies. So now I have like my I threw out all of my old boxers, and now I just wear a bunch of different MeUndies. So I can definitely attest to the quality. They're extremely comfortable. It's like this fine fabric gripping you and keeping you comfortable down there. It just feels wonderful. I'll let Andrew take it away from here because I know he's as passionate about it as I am.
I'm currently wearing them as we speak. They are.
We'll get up and show.
Well, I'm not going to go that far, but what I will go far enough to tell you is that MeUndies will help you end your toxic relationship with your tattered old underwear. MeUndies offers endless options for those looking to up their undies game. You can choose a monthly membership, a build-a-pack, or you can even match your undies with your other half. No matter what you choose, you'll get soft, sustainable pair of undies delivered straight to your door with free shipping. MeUndies has this offer for you, specifically you sitting at home or in your car or where the hell ever listening to this podcast. For any first-time purchases, you get 15% off and free shipping. That is a no-brainer because they offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. To get 15% off your first order with free shipping and a 100%, not 99%, not 99.9%, but 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/official. That's MeUndies.com/official. I'll also throw in another of my own personal endorsements. They have a feature on their website where it's called like Surprise Me or Choose For Me. So if you're picking your undies and you don't care what pattern you get, they sent me 2 pairs with polar bears on them, and I thought that was cute.
They have
Andrew, you love polar
they
bears.
have great
You've always
designs.
said they're your favorite animal.
Every
so they
single
knew you.
episode, that's how I start every topic. I say, guys, you know, the polar bear is my favorite animal, but also, have you heard about this? It was so convenient.
Oh, thanks, MeUndies.
Thank you, MeUndies.
Thank you.
MeUndies.com/official.
I really do wear not almost, literally exclusively MeUndies for like the last 6 months. So I'm extremely excited now that they're here.
They're extremely comfy, man. Just whether working out or you want to be just a little loose.
Lawrence, if you could have a pair of MeUndies underwear with anything printed on them, what would you choose?
I would choose an extremely high resolution photo of my dick.
Good pick.
1-to-1, yeah.
Yeah.
It's solid.
I would also choose an extremely high resolution photo of Lawrence's dick for my underwear.
Maybe
It
just a
would look
little
like
bit
you're not
bigger.
even wearing it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Our skin tones wouldn't even match.
It's the underwear version of the tuxedo sweat shirt, but
Yeah.
that's what I'll wear when I go yell at leaf blower guy.
The tuxedo with your underwear.
So that actually brings up a good topic, and this is kind of this is a food for thought question. Do you think there is any way for a grown man to look less dignified than wearing a t-shirt and nothing else?
Ooh, that is a very
like
silly.
not even underwear.
How long
No,
is the
dick
t-shirt?
hanging out under like the hem of the shirt.
Well,
So is the
wife
t-shirt
beater.
like the optimal? Is the t-shirt the optimal length so that the dick just pokes out of the bottom, or like do we get to vary that up?
You get like half dick, half balls. So it's like
Okay.
it's almost enough to be closed, but it obviously isn't. And then you're just standing there with like pale legs, bald feet. I feel like t-shirt is better than wife beater because it wife beater implies that you're already a trashy gentleman. But if you're wearing a t-shirt, at least that's almost halfway to being civilized. And yet there's your
like
little
maybe
dick
you were
tip
just
hanging
caught out in like an accident or something.
Yeah, or you like put your
Like, I
clothes
could
on in a
believe
weird
that.
order. Like you went t-shirt first for some reason. And then a tornado sucked the walls off your house, and now you're just standing there.
Yeah, the tornado meticulously took off your shoes and undid your belt.
Yeah.
So you flying through the air, ripped off all your clothes.
What kind of tornadoes are you getting? That sounds like a horny tornado right there. It's like,
Or in
hey
Los
there,
Angeles, I don't
handsome.
know.
Why don't you get a little comfortable?
Tornado, I said no.
I like how it takes off all the most difficult items of clothing and leaves on the thing that's easiest to get off.
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't know. My biggest fear, Lawrence, is when I'm, on the toilet or just sleeping, is getting caught that way. Like, what if somebody knocks on the door right now and it's something important and I have to answer and I'm just sitting here shitting, fucking undies around my ankles. Now what? I'm gonna look like such a fucking psycho.
Yeah, that could be. Well, and clearly, like, post shit is a whole process. So it's not like you. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't just like get up and run to the door. And if you rush it, that's gonna dominate whatever interaction you have. So like, let's say it's a FedEx guy, and he like delivers a package of MeUndies you've been waiting for years. Excuse me. During your interaction with him, you're trying to be civil, but you know you got a poopy asshole. You know what's in there.
Yeah,
You know what
I
you probably
do.
tell too.
It feels bad, man. It
can see
doesn't
it on
feel
your
right.
face.
It feels like I'm being discourteous, like just rude. To me, it's the same. I cannot shake hands with someone when my asshole is dirty. It feels like my hands are dirty. It ain't right.
Well, yeah.
I don't know how people
Yeah,
don't have.
if you can feel like you've got a dirty asshole, there's an issue there. If you feel like the shit crusted around your asshole, then I think you do need to go have a shower.
I don't know
Yeah.
how
Something.
people can live with just normal wiping and assume that's good enough. Like, I have a bidet. Kaya's got a shower routine. I think all of us, to some degree, understand that just regular wiping, you're
The
going to have
analogy-
some little bit of poop.
No, so
I mean,
here
the
I'll chime in.
analogy. We always. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. If you'd like to give it the analogy, because I have a whole spiel about that. Because I, admittedly,
don't
here
forget
seeming
it.
to be in the minority. Yeah, I
Okay,
am
keep
a
it in your
wiper
mind.
only.
What I was gonna say is, especially these days, they tell us the importance of washing our hands, and it has to be at least 20 seconds. And here's exactly how you have to move your hands and interact with each hand to get every nook and cranny of your fingers clean. So, what I always say is, if you think wiping your ass is enough, would you be satisfied with just wiping your fingers after taking a shit? Not washing them, just taking a tissue and wiping your fingers? That wouldn't be enough.
There was a
would
great
it?
analogy. Yeah, the analogy was if you had shit on your hands instead of on your asshole, would you be okay just using a napkin to get it off? No,
Right.
you'd
You
wash it.
wouldn't.
Just what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't be. It would be very uncomfortable. You would feel dirty. You would never try to use your fingers. Now, go ahead, Charlie.
So, seeming to be in the minority here, I am a wiper only. With what?
Wow, I thought we were friends, dude. What the fuck?
So now this is because I believe my asshole is fundamentally different from you people over here. Your typical, your typical man assholes and anuses.
No, all this means is you've got the dirtiest asshole
No.
here constantly.
So
I want everyone to be thinking about Charlie's dirty
Someone
asshole.
put a UV light on Charlie's asshole. You'll see speckles of poop just everywhere.
Someone do a taste test. Like the detectives. You know how the detectives in movies, they'll crouch down and wipe like a puddle of blood with their finger and taste it like, yes, this is a victim. This is two hours old. It's still warm. Should I do that to your asshole, Charlie? What are you confessing to?
I'm confessing to having a efficient ass. Like when I take a shit, for like at least the last 3 or 4 months, I would usually use wet wipes at the end because I didn't like just making it like dry. I didn't like dry on dry, so I'd usually finish with a wet wipe. But recently, I've felt like I've evolved past that. Because when I take a shit, no matter the shit, there is never any poopy on my butthole ever.
Man, that's
Lucky
that's
you.
so good.
Ever.
What is your diet
Are you
like?
sure you're not like? Are you sure you're not like rubbing your back or something accidentally? You're not like anywhere near your asshole.
He's just lost his aim.
He's wiping his belly button.
No, so when I first started to notice this trend, I was so taken aback by it. I'd like kind of go deep, like I'd kind of like open my ass a little bit more so I could like double
You're
check.
fingering
Yeah,
yourself.
just double check I wasn't missing it or it was hiding. It is just clean. When I take a shit, like there is never anything that gets left around the rim.
I have the opposite problem. Like there's been multiple times where I've used like an entire roll.
Hang on,
I
hang
don't
on.
have that problem.
Shh, I need to know the secret, Charlie. What do you eat?
Yeah.
How does this happen?
Yeah.
Well, I eat a really healthy diet. So I mean, I don't even think it's just diet, but like almonds, I eat daily. I eat almonds, raisin bran, shit like that. It's like high fiber things, but I don't think that's the thing. I think what's happened is I shaved my asshole like probably like 5 months ago, and now
Your actual asshole, like the hair's right on your
How?
asshole.
Did you do that?
No, yeah, I did
How?
that.
Was it an elaborate series of mirrors? How did you see what was?
Oh yeah, I can share the technique. I used,
Oh, why? Okay, let's not act like all of us haven't tried at some point to shave our assholes.
but I'm good
I've
at
never,
it.
Like
I've never seen my own asshole, and I'm starting to
You're
feel
lying.
like
I've shaved my pubes many
How
many
do you do
times,
it?
but not my asshole.
you
Those
squat
days are
over a
long.
mirror.
You don't-
What do you?
well, why don't you just take a picture?
You don't have to
Oh,
see
yeah, I
it
guess I
to
can do
know.
I mean, yeah, but you got to look at it at some point, right?
Yeah.
It's. I'm way too old to
Yeah,
not
I
have seen
guess.
my own butthole.
Did you use like
Well,
a
that's what
Gillette
your
fucking
girlfriend is for.
razor?
Yeah. She's described it to me.
Uh,
Which
what did
really
you-
is only like giving it some kind of weird mental space in my head because now I just have a verbal description and then my mind's starting to run away with it.
Charlie, what did you use to get
yeah,
in
we're
there? Like
getting
a
away
fucking like a Gillette razor or a straight razor, or
No,
did you just
so-
get a pair of scissors and clip away? Like
no,
what?
my technique is actually really sound. So what I did is I used the front-facing camera on like my. I don't think this was like 6 months ago. I didn't have the phone I have now, so it was my old phone, and I put the front-facing camera on the floor. I got naked and I kind of like spread my butt cheeks over my camera and looked down so I could see my asshole. Yeah, so I could see my asshole.
Shit on the screen on accident.
Yeah, so the NSA really got their money's worth when they were spying through that one, I'll tell you what. So then I'd put tissues around the phone so that way I wouldn't get just like ass hair all over it. And yeah, I just looked at that, got some like real-time feedback and used an old electric clipper to just shave around my asshole. And I think
So
what's
what
happened...
you're saying? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think what's happened now, since that was like 5 or 6 months ago, the hair is obviously all grown back now. And I think it was like so traumatized from like years and years of getting poopy stuck in it that now it is realized to branch away from like the ground zero down there. So now my ass hair,
It's evolved.
yeah, it's like spread out like away from the asshole, like out of the splash zone. So now it never gets any ass or shit in it ever.
Well, have you confirmed this? Have you had a look?
Well, I haven't squatted over it in a little while, but I mean, I like vigorously have been wiping my ass to find shit. Like I almost miss seeing it on the toilet paper, but I just don't have it there.
There's something seriously wrong.
There's something. No,
but I'm
that's
also impressed.
evolution.
It has to be the diet. I cannot see anything. What do you mean evolution? You're not like the fucking X-Man in first class with the fucking, you know, where they hold his head under the aquarium and he grows gills immediately or whatever. You wipe your ass and there's no residue. It has to be the diet. I want you to give us a diet plan. Not
mean,
yesterday.
If it is like a diet thing, then it would be just because I literally eat almonds, raisin bran, and yogurt every day, and all that's like really good for that shit.
What do you eat like as a main course though? Like what's your
Meat,
actual?
a lot of meats. Like just, I mean, you've seen me eat, Andrew. You see me eat all the time.
Yeah.
Just a lot of meat.
It's true.
Yeah.
What kind
I
of
really
Maybe
meat?
you
feel
just
like
have a
it's the
super
shaving,
high
though.
fiber
I don't think
diet,
it's
and it
diet.
just helps. Huh.
Nah,
I
that's
really
the diet.
It could
No
be,
way,
but
it's not.
I'd say that science isn't conclusive, and the shaving asshole lines up almost directly with this new clean asshole I have. So I'm just saying.
I cannot believe you have never seen your asshole,
Oh, yeah.
Lawrence. That sounds
Yeah, it's
crazy to
pretty
me.
wild too.
Yeah, what the hell?
There's a lot of things I haven't done, and I'm starting to make a list. I guess a bucket list, yeah, but it pretty easily satisfiable. I don't think I've ever pooped with the sunlight, with direct sunlight on me, you know?
No, but that's all you have to do. That's a great
You always go to a poop dungeon.
I feel like
Yeah, it's
all of
always
us
been
have at
inside.
least. I feel like all of us, at least as a kid, have bent over in front of a mirror to just look at our own buttholes. Like, you've never done that?
Yeah, it had never occurred to me to do it. And now I don't know. I mean, clearly the train hasn't left the station. I still got time, thank God.
Lawrence, have you stared yourself in the eye while taking a shit? Have you ever had that opportunity?
Stabbed myself in the eye?
Stared yourself in the eye, like where you go to a friend's house and they have a mirror directly in front of the toilet, so you can just look at yourself in the face while you're taking a fat shit. Have you ever done that? It seems awful.
I haven't done that, but one of the apartments I had, the mirror was behind the toilet, and it was like a full-length mirror. So I was cursed to stare at myself while I was both pissing and jacking off.
Yeah,
so
that's
I have done that. I have not beamed myself in the eye while shitting yet, but there's plenty of time on the schedule today. I'm sure I can pencil that in.
His wife's gonna come home and he's bent over in front of a full body mirror touching his ass.
Yeah.
Jerking off. How difficult was it to jerk off staring at yourself? I guess were you staring at yourself? Because that would be, I guess, different.
Yeah, my eyes would typically dodge that whole thing. It's basically just like your brain is very powerful when it has to bust a nut, but I basically would have this sort of like dead space in the center of my vision where I wouldn't see myself. However, the second that I actually did like bust into the toilet, I would then look up and behold my shame instantly. So it was a weird process. It was the highest of highs and lowest of lows.
So you got that feeling when you're watching porn and you're done, and then you can see your face in the reflection of your monitor or your phone.
Yeah,
you got that in like high resolution.
Basically, yeah, in real time. With with my pants around my ankles, my arm all inflamed. I realize now that was kind of grooming in a way. So later, it occurred to me that I had never jerked off to myself. Somebody in chat had mentioned this a while ago. So I decided to challenge myself by jerking off to a picture of my own dick.
What?
Yeah.
All right.
Which
Did
is
you
not as
give
difficult
yourself a
as you might
contribute?
think. No.
Yeah,
I
you should
don't-
try
well, I guess I
coming on
did,
a
yeah.
photo of yourself, a fucking portrait.
Yeah, I guess the layers were off. If the phone were lower, that would have happened. Oh wait, does it have to be a photo, or can it just be like a phone with a picture on it?
Sure,
Yeah, I
that
don't
too,
know the
I
rules.
guess.
That's you, Kaya. Yeah.
If you saran wrap it or something, I don't know. If you, I don't know if you want to bust the phone
Contributing
just
is
for this.
you come on the object, so if you want to get cum all over your phone screen, go nuts. That could save you a step.
Well, I mean, it may. I just want to know the rules. I don't want to have to do this twice.
Yeah, you might like it the first time.
I guess, but so you guys might live in terror of like your thumbnails falling off or whatever. I live in terror of accidentally discovering a kink that is going to radically change the trajectory of my life.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of maybe that's something that's holding me back from looking at my own buttholes. I'm afraid I might actually like it, and then my life's gone. Like I'm just gonna spend 8 hours staring at my own butthole every day.
His eyes just widen. He sees the light.
Yeah, it's like Requiem for a Dream. My
quit
arteries
Twitch.
dilate.
You quit Twitch and go on OnlyFans. You just start dilating your asshole. That's the mission for the rest of your life. Yeah, that would be fucking radical,
Look
I guess.
at
A radical
myasshole.com.
change.
Actually, let me see if that's. Let's see here. Let me bring up GoDaddy here.
I bet money that's already a
Lawrence's asshole
website.
this side.
There's no way that's not a website already.
It probably is. While he Googles
what
that,
if it's
Andrew, you can
Charlie?
tell us about Clean Cult.
Dude, look at myasshole.com is available. $12 a year.
Bullshit. No way.
That's a bargain.
That is. Shit, I'm buying that right now. Add to cart.
All right. Well, he
Well,
buys it.
speaking of assholes and things that you need to clean, I'm going to tell you about cleaning with Clean Cult. How is it that most cleaning products can make you feel so dirty? I mean, between chemical formulas, plastic bottles, all sorts of other unsavory things like that, traditional cleaning products are a surprisingly messy business. Clean Cult makes natural cleaners that are actually clean with ingredients you can understand in packaging that's actually landfill free. Instead of wondering what's in your cleaning products, with Clean Cult, your pets and kids are safe with non-toxic coconut-based formulas. Clean Cult is as effective as leading brands of detergent, so you get the same level of clean with none of the chemicals. You can go to cleancult.com to get a customized starter kit and adjustable paper-based refill delivery service that fits the needs of your home and lifestyle. let me tell you guys something. I got a big Clean Cult starter kit, and I love their hand soap. It's got like lemon in it to really kind of cut on that grease and get in your hands. And it just feels a little different than normal soaps that I use. My hands feel cleaner and softer afterwards. I can't describe why, but maybe that's the magic of natural ingredients in Clean Cult. Kaya?
I mean, forget about softer. Have you guys noticed that we're running out of hand sanitizer all over the globe because of the fucking virus?
Yeah.
I mean, don't bother going to the stores anymore. There's people hoarding it, trying to resell it, price gouge. Just order it on cleancult.com/official. That's how easy it is.
This is perfect right now.
It is perfect. Just deliver it to your home. This is it. This is what you have to do. Even the health experts are now telling us that we should wipe down the stuff that we buy. Like if you're buying a water bottle at the supermarket, you should at least like kind of try to wash it or hold it under the sink for a couple of seconds. Here you go. Don't bother paying for. They're just price gouging the hell out of it in Turkey, especially right now. I've noticed with the hand sanitizer that we usually have in Turkey. So don't bother with any of that stuff where you live. Go to Clean Cult. Use it. Have it delivered to your door. Just nicely clean your house.
That's
with
another
stuff
great
they bring
point.
to you.
Yeah, stay in your home. Self-quarantine. It's delivered to your door. You don't have to go to the store to buy it. And you can get started with Clean Cult right now if you go to cleancult.com/official for 25% off your first kit, but only till May 30th. You can see how I kind of slipped those together there. 25% off until May 30th. Get 25% off now through May 30th at cleancult.com/official, cleancult.com/official. 25% off till May 30th.
Thanks, Clean Cult.
Thank you, Clean Cult.
Lawrence,
Yeah.
go fuck yourself. You snatched that URL up so fast. You fucking motherfucker.
I even had to two-step it, and you didn't get it in time.
No, but I wasn't logged in. I wasn't ready. I don't know how often you fucking snipe URLs, but you immediately redirected that to your own URL. You fucking bastard.
Sure did.
You did?
Yeah.
I think as we were doing that ad read, Lawrence and I were having a fucking URL battle, and he won.
No, we chased it.
So what's the full
Yeah,
URL?
wait, what was it?
Look at myasshole.com.
You son of a bitch. I'll give you that one.
I got a few of these. I got sellmysemen.com too. I'm waiting to use that one.
You're creating a fucking multinational business.
Hey man, great entrepreneurial ideas strike you at any moment.
I have bad news for you there, man. Sellmysemen.com is not linking to you anymore. It goes to GoDaddy. It's open.
Oh, I haven't set that up to redirect. That one. Here, let me do that one right now just to prove I can.
How many domains do you own?
Sometimes, like I said, you get good ideas and you gotta snap them up.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What was your idea here?
I had bigbootylovers.com too. Oh, sellmysemen.com was. I felt like at some point, I and many other gentlemen, you can go to a sperm bank and sell your semen, right? But what if I do it for you? Just put it in a plastic baggie, mail it to me. I'll handle all the logistics. I'll take 30% cut. And and we'll make some money. There's got to be somebody out there that wants to buy you semen, right?
Oh, for sure.
You're like the
Oh, I thought you meant you take 30% of their semen. Like, you keep it.
His own
You're
bag.
like the semen steam.
I didn't even think it was a business thing.
6-1
Semen
doesn't
steam
have the same thing,
store.
really.
Steaming.
Steaming,
But yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities out there, a lot of potentials for hustlers to make some money. So I'm just trying to get it while the getting's good, you know. Gotta wake up and get that cum. Gotta make sure that
And
who
to
is
look at your
isn't.
asshole.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad,
Somebody's
like
got to.
3 years ago, at least, Lawrence, you'll never own official.men. We still own that one.
Crap. You're right.
Yeah. It still says coming soon or something for like 3 years, but you know what? For April 1st, so I think this episode might air on April 1st, right?
Probably not.
I think April 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
fuck it
April
then.
1st on audio, right?
April 1st early access, April 2nd all others.
Oh.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Well, we weren't doing anything for April Fools anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, but that's because I noticed too late. So, Charlie, yesterday you said that you might not be able to make it. If I had known that we would have had a chance to release on April 1st, I would have pulled another soundboard of you as an anniversary. Because 1 year ago we did that, and it was a hit.
Yeah. That was. I still
Yeah, it
think
was
to this
fun.
day that's the only episode I missed. That the only bonus was that one. Then you convinced everyone that I didn't miss it because I was on LSD or something.
And denying 9/11, yeah. That was great, man. That was like, I don't know, Jackson, was that like bonus 29 or something?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for in case
that's
anybody
such a
wants to
good
check
episode.
that out on our Patreon, you can. If you want to go back, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. You also backed me into a corner because you made it like pretty bulletproof that I wouldn't be able to defend myself. You're like, you'll probably deny this going forward, won't you? And you had me saying like, yeah, I probably would never admit to this off air. So then people would come into the stream and be like, no, what are you talking about? I've never done LSD. They're like, that's just what Kaya said you would say.
I like that.
That's what the sound
Oh yeah,
was.
that's just what you said on the
so-
podcast. Yeah.
So the great thing is that in our Discord, you can still find the archive of the live chat of that bonus. So if you go back, anybody wants to sign up for a Patreon, they can still listen to that episode and then scroll down the chat at the time through the archive. And there were people, you poor people, who had a hunch that that I was using a soundboard and you were fake, and everyone else in the chat was like telling them to shut the fuck up and you're just being retarded. So they just got shouted down.
Yeah.
The truth tellers. They didn't have enough confidence.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty solid April Fool's joke, to be honest. April Fool's is kind of like a dead holiday anyway these days. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do for April 1st this year with a goddamn pandemic and like nothing but bad news? Oh, you played
Yeah,
a prank?
honestly.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the vibe is off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you'd want to do something. A good April Fool's prank is like half believable, but anything that's half believable now is just terrible. Would be inhumane to joke about. So I don't know.
It wouldn't be getting any
No.
ha-has. It'd just be like a pitchfork mob.
Yeah,
People
right.
created an amazing vaccine for the coronavirus available now.
that would be mean.
It's orange juice.
April Fools.
Pretty fucking mean.
Everyone's spirit's already
Being
broken.
extremely mean.
I guess, okay, the other way to look at it, maybe my entrepreneurial hat wasn't on. There has never been greater potential to utterly prank the human race
Yeah.
than there is on this April 1st. If you're a true sociopath, now is your time. So actually in that regard, I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen.
I wonder who's going to be brave enough to do something. You've already got like 3 of the big degenerates, like the guy who licks public toilet seats. He got, I think he got coronavirus and then banned off the internet. The guy who
Are you
licked
talking about
Walmart
the-
deodorants.
Oh yeah, he did. So the guy who
Yeah,
licked
he's-
in Walmart, he was licking whole aisles of products. He got charged with a terrorist threat. So
Yeah,
they
that's
caught
like a
him.
10-year sentence.
The other one,
Nice.
who you're talking about, I think, is the girl who licked the toilet seats, Charlie. She was apparently some rich influencer, and later on she did come out and say that she didn't actually lick a plain toilet seat. She said that she was on a sugar daddy's private plane, and the toilet seat was disinfected.
Yeah, no, that's not who I was talking about, though. There's a guy, the same guy who used to lick ice cream.
Oh.
Yeah, someone just posted him in the chat. I think that's him. He's the guy who licked ice cream and then put it back in the aisle and got in trouble. Because that right there is like some terrorist shit, too. It's a felony. He did that for coronavirus as well. And then I believe he did get coronavirus or faked it. But anyway, he's banned off Twitter and everything, so...
Good.
Fuck,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, licking a toilet seat, like coronavirus would be the least of my fears.
Yeah, that too.
That's disgusting.
First of all, that's disgusting no matter what. That's disgusting regardless of if there's a pandemic going around. But that fucking douchebag, man, who was in Walmart or wherever licking the whole aisle of deodorants and other products, dude, just I sometimes I feel like all it takes is for us to take one of those people and execute them on live TV for the shit to end. It just really needs to end, though.
Did
I
I?
don't
Fuck
know that
you
you
with
can
your
stop the human
challenges.
condition. Yeah, right? there's 6 billion or what, almost 7 billion people on the planet, and the fact that maybe 3 of them are fucking insane enough to do that, the ratio's not bad. But I don't know that you can. Man, I don't know that you can squash them all out. I don't know. I'd like to think you could.
The problem is that there's just so many people who just don't give a shit and they're selfish. Did I think I wasn't here. I wasn't here last week, so I can tell it. I never mentioned the story of the guy who tried to like barge into the restaurant during the quarantine.
No.
I figured I could tell it. It's a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, you haven't told that.
So right before I left for my camping trip, or right after I got back, I don't remember, but I went to a local restaurant that was doing takeout only because everything was quarantined and obviously shut down. So when I went to pick up my food, I called ahead. There was one other guy waiting in the kind of little like lobby where if you're waiting for a table, they have benches and shit, and he was sitting there. So I, in quarantine, nice fashion, I waited outside, out the front door to give us some space. And like the manager came out and he was talking to the guy, and then he was like, "Oh, what are you picking up for?" Blah, 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 blah. So while we're waiting, this dude, probably in his 60s, so prime candidate to be at the most risk for quarantine, drives up in his car, walks into the front door, rubbing his hands all over like the little support beam, all over the door. And then there's a table set up in front of the restaurant to block off the entrance so you can't actually walk in. He starts leaning against it, like rubbing his hands on it, touching every menu, every pen, everything, and waiting for someone to come over. And the manager walks out and they kind of start talking and he mumbles a bit and the manager goes, "Oh, we're closed for quarantine. We're takeout only." And the guy goes, "Really? Really?" And the manager goes, "Yeah, every restaurant in the area by orders of the government, we're closed for takeout only. We're on quarantine." And he looks him dead in the face and he says, "Well, what about me?" And there's a pause, and the manager goes, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do." And the
manager's like, "Oh, of course, sir." And he just like moves the tables out of the way. And then
"Here's our toilet.
You were coming.
Go lick it." And then so the manager goes, "I'm sorry, sir. There's nothing we can do. I'm sorry." And the guy goes, "You're sorry." And he turns around to leave, and he kind of like looks at me.
Wait, what does that mean?
I have no idea.
That's some like teenage sass.
Yeah, and he looks at me and kind of like he like gives me that look of like, "Can you believe this shit?" And I'm just like staring at him. And then he gets in his car, and while backing out, he scrapes his bumper on the curb. Awesome. So the other guy waiting and I had a nice little giggle about that. But it just kind of opened my eyes. You have all these warnings and all these government notices and all these businesses and all these communities. It doesn't matter. You have one selfish douchebag and he ruins all of it.
I know.
Well, like Lawrence said, there's 7 billion people on the planet. At least half of them are just brain dead, probably. Like the average intelligence you could think of, only like what 30% of the people in the planet probably reach that kind of level. All the rest are just silly people, like what you're talking about, Andrew.
I know.
And speaking of silly people, you're silly if you're not using honey to save money, isn't?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Especially with the economy in the toilet, man, we all gotta save some money.
Absolutely.
With honey.
And it's free.
Want to tell our fans about it?
That's you, Andrew, baby.
That's all me. We are currently in a advised self-quarantine, my friends, which means that if you've been paying attention to the news, Amazon is stocking up and trying their hardest. All sorts of online retailers are just getting slammed. And you are probably part of that situation, which means why aren't you saving money doing it? We all shop online a lot. But you know how you can make shopping online even better? You can use Honey. Honey is a free online shopping tool that saves you money online. They automatically find the best promo codes and apply them to your cart, which makes online shopping finally free and easy as it should be. When you're at checkout, there's a little box that drops down from Honey's little add-on that says, "Would you like to apply coupons?" Now, you could be a rebel and a crazy person. You could say no. But if you're a rational human being and you want to save some money, you'd say yes. And you watch as the prices drop on your online carts. I use Honey all the time. I don't know how the four of us can get this message across with the utmost sincerity, but when I buy clothes, when I buy snacks, when I buy tools for around my house, like a little fucking hammer or a screwdriver, everything. Honey will find you coupons. It is astonishing how by just doing absolutely nothing, Honey will go, oh, by the way, you saved $10. Doing nothing. Not using Honey is literally passing up free money. It's free to use and installs in a few seconds. It's backed by PayPal, so you know it's good. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/official. That's joinhoney.com/official. I will click the extension in my browser right now, and it even give you suggestions on where they have sales. Coach, eBay, Ann Taylor, JCPenney, AT&T, Microsoft. I'm scrolling down the list right now.
Even if it saves you just like $10 a month, it might sound a little, but that's basically a free Netflix subscription, right? That's enough to pay for Netflix. Yeah. So you get that for free, so just download the goddamn extension, man.
Yeah, they have everything. I mean, Lawrence, your site, look at my arsehole or whatever it is, probably has Honey right now. You can probably save money with Honey at look at my arsehole.
Well, the intersection of Honey and my asshole is something that is not new to me, so you're correct. It does. Sure, you could save money off of everything you find there.
Beautiful.
I'll pay full price, man.
Oh, nice.
I love Honey so much.
Nice. My honeyed butthole. What a phrase that I didn't expect to say today.
Ooh. That sounds pretty nice.
That's right.
So Lawrence, you have a reputation, I would say, for knowing the intricacies of the weirdest parts of the internet. And I feel like that's a reputation that both Andrew and Kaya both also have. So I wanted to know what you think is the weirdest part of the internet, to see if the other boys have any kind of idea.
That's a great question. I think the thing that has stuck with me the longest, the thing that I learned about that I just truly couldn't wrap my head around, was there was a forum that was discovered a while ago of people whose sexual fetish was to contract HIV.
Pausers. Yeah, bug
Pause
chasers.
piggies. Yes.
Pause. Yeah.
Pause my neg hole. That phrase has been, and I guess I was we were talking about holes, so maybe that's what linked it in my head. But I think that may be the thing that has stuck with me the longest. Like after I learned that, I had never seen the internet the same, but there hasn't been a moment like that since. Like that kind of set the bar, where I was like, okay, I now understand the total breadth of the human condition. And I haven't really seen anything that has outdone that. I'm trying to think.
Do you think that exists in real life, or is it purely an internet fantasy thing, like just typing it out to each other? Or do you think they actually go out there and try to contract HIV, like a life sentence?
I've wondered about that, because I could see in one sense that it is just purely like mental games. You're on forums and you're talking and you think the idea is hot, but you understand the realities of contracting HIV. But no, I fully believe that there are people who would not stop there.
Jackson, I've sent you videos, or rather put them in our live chat, of men arming each other in lieu of fisting. Remember that? Where they put whole arms into each other? Remember those tweets and videos?
Yeah, like using each other,
licking
like
each other's prolapses like honey, like beehives. One man would
grabbing
shit
it
out
with
his
two hands and just
pulling it out, licking it, and shoving it back in, like just Winnie the Pooh licking his little jar of honey.
Could you put your prolapse inside another man's prolapse?
Oh man, prolapse back and forth forever.
Yeah, like docking, but
this is the grossest episode we've done in a long time. We started with toenails falling off, and then we moved to jacking off to yourself. And
well, that's not gross. That's fine.
Well, no, that's natural.
I made a
mistake.
Celebrating God's beauty right there.
Prolapsing and
prolapsing kind of gross.
And then, and then 2 weeks from now, we're gonna be like, how come women don't listen to our podcast?
Yeah,
this is weird.
Demo appeals all off.
Speaking of women, only 6% female listeners. What the fuck is this?
How come it's just juvenile men? Maybe because we are.
I do recall seeing a video of a bald man, and the bald thing is important, shoving his entire head into a woman's vagina.
I'm sorry to tell you, man, that's fake, I think.
Was it?
No.
Oh, is it?
I
It's
think
not.
they faked it.
But Lawrence,
It's not?
that is from like 15 years ago.
It's
right?
from a
That is
very long
old.
time ago. It's
Yeah,
very old.
My
Some
friends
say
and I,
he's
we
still
used
head
to
first up in that pussy.
we used to giggle about that in
lives in
like
that.
middle school.
Oh man.
Wow, that's
That
an
was-
early time to be laughing about that.
Right. Yeah. That was like step 1, and then the bug chasers was kind of step 2, and
And you haven't progressed past that
not
yet.
really. I mean, I know that there's some more messed up shit out there. Like I'm sure I've accidentally seen like the beginning of a snuff film or something and just clicked away from it really fast.
Oh, like Three Guys, One Hammer? That's one.
Yeah.
That's a snuff film, isn't it?
It's super vanilla.
I don't know that I've seen that one. Yeah. That's super vanilla.
Kai is the foremost expert on this.
I don't know. I don't like seeking out the things that are just fucked up and depraved. I like it when the internet either incidentally or intentionally shows you just how bizarre the human experience can be. It's a good reminder of like, I mean, in your day to day, you might run into an old man who gets really upset that he can't have his like, I don't know, his extreme cheesy bread, and that's a weird moment. But then you find weird subcultures on the internet of people who are just into all sorts of things, and I guess when people get together that have like a shared weird fantasy for whatever reason, their brains just gravitate there, and there's no one there to like to shame them back into course correction. The things they get up to, man, it's intense.
Yeah.
It's intense when people
Yeah.
can just kind of find solidarity and run with whatever fantasies they have.
Do you think that's
I
only a modern
consider-
thing, or do you think this kind of community
Oh,
has
no way.
always existed?
I think a lot about
Like
that.
the ancient Romans were
about
doing
how
it.
like if there were like 20 people and they're just removed from society and they have their own civilization going, man, the shit they must have gotten up to.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
always existed. It's just the internet makes it more prevalent.
Yeah, and you can find it. It's
Yeah.
It's so much
documented.
easier.
Yeah, I consider
sure.
it kind of a blessing that we grew up in the age that we did, and we all grew up kind of like saturated into the internet, because now very few things surprise me, and you just kind of have all of that experience and that reference where things don't shock you anymore. You can kind of understand it, accept it.
Isn't it possible that the internet itself though is a negative like invention because we haven't reached the point where we would know that it's a negative invention? Like maybe we're regressing, like in terms of evolution or whatever, because of the internet, but it's because it's so recent, we just don't know.
There's I think that's a really good point. There was I can't remember who forwarded the idea, but essentially like we're still at the point of the internet where we don't understand how damaging it can be, so we're playing with it like it's a toy. That was kind of the idea with like chemistry and physics and atomic power. Before the atomic bomb, scientists thought that atomic power was great, that it couldn't do anything wrong, and it was going to power everything, and it was going to usher in a golden age of mankind. And people are saying that like, well, the internet hasn't really had its atomic bomb moment unless you count maybe like Facebook, Cambridge Analytica, and all that shit. So yes, they're tech
TikTok.
CEOs certainly. Or yeah, TikTok, especially TikTok. Tech CEOs kind of play with the internet like it has no potential to do harm. Where I think we're starting to realize that yes, it actually can do a significant amount of harm to society.
We've talked about this before on the show too. Is every lunatic can now go on his dedicated subreddit, whatever it is. Do you like crushing snails while wearing a diaper, pissing yourself, and building Legos? Well, there's a fetish subreddit for that.
Yeah.
With like-minded people, you can find at least another dozen of your own lunatic kind to tell you that, you know what, actually, you're not a depraved fucking lunatic. You're oppressed. And this is a valid sexuality. So yeah, there's a downside, but as a whole, I think the internet is pretty great.
I think as an
At least.
invention, the internet is a good thing.
Because you're the best part of it.
But the problem is that culturally, social media and all in that, it's a negative thing. I mean, just all the psychological things that come in play when you have like social media groups and different ideologies like that, it can just be incredibly
Misinformation and
damaging
stuff.
and negative. Yeah. I mean, there's
definitely on like a personal level, like there's probably a lot more developing minds or whatever being
younger and
pushed to
younger.
the extremes.
I mean, there's a study. It's part of why social media and the internet as a whole leans so negative and so nasty. It's where if people are anonymous, they act way more nasty to each other than if they weren't, even if it's not true anonymity. So like if you sign up for an account on Reddit, say you have a username, and if someone really tries to track you down, they can find who you are. But just the fact that you're not using your real name or not talking to people you directly know, you tend to act more like an asshole to them and just be more confrontational.
Yeah, that's always been the case though, for sure.
Which is not a bad
Personalization.
thing.
But think about it. The
Anonymity
internet
is a good
gives us
thing.
the platform to like do that on the grandest scale we've ever had in human history. You know.
Yeah, it's why rioters wear masks. Why the KKK had hoods. It's like it's I guess it's called mode switching. Is that it gives you the opportunity to like switch into a different mode of operating where you can tell yourself that the things you're saying are not you. That's like somebody else. And then when you go back to your daily life and you interact with the people there, you kind of switch into a different persona. Yeah, it's the internet really does expose a lot of very cyclical human behaviors. The ability or the tendency to cluster into a group, to, like you said, form victim complexes, to look inward and then villainize everyone who's considered outward, and then the depersonalization aspect of like we're in a gang together and all the other games fucking suck and we're gonna go around and mess them up. So yeah, it's I feel like
there's such lame gangs though. You'd think, especially in the age of the pandemic, we would have like Mad Max apocalyptic gangs going on, and instead we have like adult baby diaper people versus neo-Nazis. This is not cool. This is lame. This is so fucking retarded. Can we have some cool cars?
There is absolutely no cool rebels right now. Like the biggest rebel I've seen recently was like two overweight couples that were fighting over like soda in a Walmart once.
Mountain Dew, yeah, I saw that video. That man was angry that he couldn't get to hoard all of the Mountain Dew in a Walmart or something. This is for anyone who doesn't know, this was at a Walmart, I think, Charlie?
I believe so. I'm pretty sure it was Walmart, but it might not have been because I don't think Walmart has that authority to like shut down a bulk buy. So I'm not sure.
Oh no, they do.
They do have
they're
that
a private
authority?
business. They can. Well, they're a private
they can
business.
do whatever they
just
want.
sell whatever the hell they want to whoever.
Oh, it's
they
Kroger,
want,
by the way. I looked it up. It was a Kroger supermarket, and he was trying to buy 552 cans of Mountain Dew.
And
a rational amount.
This guy is preparing for the apocalypse with Mountain Dew, and the cashier basically told this couple, "No, sir, you can't buy all of our Mountain Dew." It was like, really?
Why not just go straight to the like?
So are you fucking telling me?
Distributor.
Are you telling me
Just
that
go
how
to
we have the
Mountain Dew factory?
We have the fucking supermarket aisles with like disinfectant and toilet paper and tissues, and it says the store is limiting that you only take 2 items per person. Are we gonna have to slap that shit on soda now and chips? Oh my god.
What happens if you work for
America,
Mountain Dew and you see this video? Are you proud or are you worried?
Oh, I feel like there's that level of shame. Like, Jesus, what have we done? Like, we didn't stop to think if we should.
Oh. Wait, who are you talking about at Mountain Dew? Like the CEO? They're fucking ecstatic.
Yeah.
But like...
That a man with ratty New Balance shoes and a generous sweatpant is yelling about your product in a Kroger? I guess.
That's a bad look for Mountain Dew, because now I think about that guy when I see Mountain Dew instead of gamers.
I mean, it's like saying, look, do you think that Escobar was ever ashamed of the fact that he had people addicted to his drug? I'm sure he was happy about it, right?
But he doesn't have the face of it. What I'm saying is, like, that's a bad look. Now Mountain Dew is associated with that fucking guy.
Are you kidding me? Mountain Dew's always been...
Mountain Dew's always been gamer stuff. That guy is far from a gamer. He's a
gamer.
But think about what it was before gaming even came around as like a thing. Who was drinking it?
I can't
it's
even,
always been
I can't
associated
remember.
with that.
I don't want to think back that far.
It's never been like the cool gamers or anything. It's always like the fat, overweight, neckbeard gamers that have been the
but at least they're gamers. Like, what is that guy? A sister kisser at Kroger? Like, what do you... It's much better to have a gamer.
He's got a Minecraft account.
He plays solitaire.
Well, I mean, speaking of the ability to, like, seek out your own kind and, like, form a community and stuff, I feel like moments like these are important to realize that, at least in the United States, these are our brothers and sisters. And then certain things make a lot more sense with the way things are going, but... I do occasionally have to remind myself that my nation and the situation that I'm in is not just because of me, the people I interact with on a daily basis, and who I see on Twitter. It's this gentleman who is bellowing about not being able to buy all the Mountain Dew he wants, and suddenly, like, the voting trends make a lot more sense. So I don't know. To some degree, it's like it is humbling to acknowledge that we are in the same human race, but maybe that's a good thing to force myself to be okay with. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I mean, it's never going to change, so you may as well.
The
That's
problem
the
is
thing.
that it's just people being selfish, man. It's always just people being self-centered and only giving a shit about themselves.
On the other hand,
that's human nature, though.
In that man's defense, who are you guarding the Mountain Dew for? Like, you're not gonna let that man hoard it all. How many fat people do you have stopping by to buy Mountain Dew that you have to ration that shit?
Well, Kaya, you've been
It's
to
America,
America.
isn't it? So
you
a
should
lot.
know it's an exorbitant amount.
Yeah, it is a ton. I guarantee there's like 50 other cases of people like hoarding soda that just didn't get filmed.
Yeah, what they didn't show in that video is behind him is a line of 10 other people with just as much Mountain Dew.
Yeah, and then one guy with Pepsi.
Just one guy hoarding all of the Pepsi, one guy hoarding all of the Coca-Cola, Fanta, Sprite.
They're all selling it out of their trucks in the parking lot. Man, that's capitalism, baby. That's
Trickle down soda economics.
This guy's an entrepreneur. That's the thing. Like in the way that I bought lookatmyasshole.com, he's trying to snatch up all the Mountain Dew stock in Alabama or wherever he is. And he's just making money moves. That's all.
Yeah,
He's mad that the man's stepping in.
Unfortunately, reselling like that is a serious crime.
Now
if you,
it is,
in a time of
I
crisis, if
think-
you buy supplies and resell it at a marked up value, you can go to fucking federal prison.
I think he was all of the demand. I think he was buying it for himself.
for
I don't know if you were here,
For
Andrew,
sure.
when we talked about it. We talked about the guy who was hoarding all of the hand sanitizer.
Oh,
He
I'm
got-
glad you
he
brought that
got
up. Yeah, I heard of
butt-fucked.
that.
Yeah, so we talked about this. He got sued by his own state, I think, and then he got shamed by the internet into donating all of the hand sanitizer he was hoarding. So in a way, the system worked.
Yeah.
He didn't get away with it. But Mountain Dew, is it really as essential as hand sanitizer and face masks? Come on.
In America, yeah.
One could argue.
That
is a,
really
This
sounds like
nice gentleman.
a very American thing to do, but who am I to talk? Who am I to talk as a Turkish person? Apparently, I heard that Turkey now has globally not the most cases, but the fastest rising cases. So we have our cases apparently double every 1.5 days. So, which,
Oh wow, that's way above.
yeah, I kind of expected that.
I do believe if you go back in episodes, Kaya said that exact same thing.
Dude, I'm telling you, I have no. I'm not delusional, man. I know what Turkey is like, and I know what's going to happen in Turkey. I know what's about to happen, at least.
Yeah,
And it doesn't look good.
I'm not like a world political scholar, but Turkey's had some shit in the past couple of years. Some very
Hey.
authoritarian shit. Sorry.
Really?
Whoa,
Relax
whoa.
now. Whoa, what is this
Whoa.
I'm hearing?
He's talking about hand sanitizer, Lawrence. Jesus.
Well, it's
Yeah,
just
Jesus.
the combination of the two, the intersection of the two.
What do you
the
want me to get
government moves
whisked
and then-
away in a black van? What are you trying to accomplish, Lawrence? I'm trying to be nice to you, and you're
Sorry.
trying to make me disappear in a labor camp. What is this?
Is that how bad? Well, I guess I just said just said I was ignorant.
We need to speak in code here.
Oh,
Lawrence.
sorry.
Yeah. Welcome to my
let's go.
world, buddy.
Don't worry, it's a code for shaving assholes or something.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Christmas Island is what we call it.
Let's just
fuck.
we do call Christmas Island. So if you want to
Got it.
What the fuck?
imply,
Why are you giving away the secret?
Dakota ring? Why would you say
Yeah,
that?
Jesus.
I just feel bad for Lawrence. He doesn't understand.
Yeah, I'm
yet.
a little baby here. I have no idea what's going on.
Well, neither does the fucking Christmas Island Secret Service. Why did you just give away the fucking the secret Krabby Patty formula? Take that out. I don't want them knowing what Christmas
Redacted.
Island stands for.
Don't worry. He editor just redact
Yeah,
my statement.
beep out when Jackson says
Beep it.
and beep out when I just said it.
Okay.
There we go. Now we're safe.
I mean, it's funny because you guys talked about like being a cool rebel or whatever like that. Being a cool rebel has consequences. I don't know if you guys saw what is it, Tiger King?
Not yet.
Yeah, I just
No.
finished it. It's great.
Yeah,
People keep
I won't get into it too much,
recommending it.
but it's an amazing story.
Oh, well-
But one of the more amazing parts is that there's a bunch of self-appointed libertarians in it that like hate the government, personal freedoms, all this stuff. But the absolute second they stand to lose anything, they roll over immediately. They snitch on everyone, and hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler because it doesn't really factor in that much.
So
but
Is it
a
is
fun
it
and
cute?
You'll hate it, Kaya.
tigers
I think
are cute.
you'll despise
Why?
it. I think based on how they treat the animals.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
then
Like
I can't
there's
watch
no
it.
there's no animal abuse at all, but there are parts where it's not very pleasant.
Okay, I can't watch it.
Having
then.
said that, though, Charlie,
Well, that sounds like animal
It does
abuse.
sound like
there's
animal
incentive
abuse.
for you to watch it.
Yeah.
Juliana and I watched it. So one of the big players in it is in Tampa, and nearly every shot on location part they do in Tampa, we recognized it and knew exactly where it was.
Really? Is it a big cat
Yeah.
rescue?
It is. It's Big Cat Rescue.
I've been there. It was a really positive experience. Don't tell me it's bad. Do they do bad things to the animals?
It's more about the people who run the zoos than the zoos themselves.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but
I still feel like locking these cats up behind like really tight enclosures and stuff is just
That's not how they do it
negative
at the
in
big cat rescue. They have like entire fields for them to run around and they're fed constantly. They have they get out of the.
But are they treated as like a source of entertainment? at
no,
all? Like
actually,
tours.
they're not.
Yeah, just tours.
You're not allowed. You're not allowed to touch them at all.
Yeah.
You have to keep a certain distance from them. They're fed like in a different thing so that the trainers don't directly fuck with them.
Okay.
See, Jackson, I'm
that
with
sounds
you. I'm
positive.
with you in some ways because on one hand, I hate animals in captivity and used for entertainment as well. But on the other hand, most animals in captivity live longer than in the wild, so it's there's goods
It's
and bad.
not a good existence for
Yeah,
them.
but that's
there's
not a
pros
good
and
argument.
cons.
I could kidnap you and keep you in captivity and make you live longer.
That's true. That's true.
That's just not a good
Again,
argument.
No, I'm not trying to defend
mean-
it, but I see both sides.
Well,
for
is there an
pros and
Xbox in there?
cons.
Yeah, it's true. What amenities do they have? A gym?
Yeah, let's discuss this. This kidnapping could work out in my interest.
The tigers. Okay, yeah, sure.
I know
Do they get
can't,
free
they
hand
can't
medicine?
negotiate. Yeah. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's you want to talk about human dynamics? Good God, or what people get up to when no one's watching. I guess that show really reinforced to me that kind of like you had mentioned before when like pre-internet, the fucked up shit people probably got up to and you just never heard about. Yeah, that stuff happens all the time. It's weird. Like there's this whole Pizzagate, whatever pedophilia rings. Like everyone thinks that people in liberal media havens are living lives of debauchery, but good God, man, if you go out into the woods where no one knows what you're doing, people get up to some shit out there. Ooh, some deliverance shit. God damn. So
Yeah.
Wait, this is all in this tiger show?
kind of, yeah, a little bit. Maybe
Okay,
not.
then I can't watch it.
Yeah, maybe not utter depravity, but it is just people being just unhinged and kind of like if they can cocoon up in their own little places, and they just sort of get further and further away from anything resembling a societal normal. Yeah, it gets out there. Human.
That's
human beings
interesting.
are fucked,
Do you
man.
have like an example?
Like from the show or just in life?
Yeah. Well, both. I'm interested in both.
Well,
but,
off the
yeah.
top of my head, I do remember. Well, when I was in high school, I grew up in a really small town in Texas, and there wasn't a whole lot to do. So me and some friends would just build weaponry out of stuff we could buy from Home Depot, and then we just drive out into the middle of nowhere and beat the shit out of each other with it.
That's awesome.
That's not
That
bad.
was pretty fun.
That's
Yeah,
your
you're right.
prerogative.
Yeah, yeah. We would just get PVC pipe and a bunch of plumbing insulation and just make these giant 20-pound swords and just beat the shit out of it. And then, anyway, there was
that's pretty
there
cool.
was one, and I guess the weirdest of us all. There was one kid. I don't remember his name, unfortunately, but he got a cut on his hand, and then he just stared at it and was spreading it open with his fingers. And he did that for 10 minutes. Yeah, that kid was weird. I don't know what he's up to now. He's probably fine. But in the show, gosh, it's just a series of. There's no one thing. The show is a nonstop machine gun of human beings just being peak human. It is essentially 8 hours straight of this guy yelling at a cashier because he can't buy all the Mountain Dew he wants. Yeah, it's a tangled web. I don't want to spoil any of it, but.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's-
would
sold me
highly
on it.
recommend it. I also watched
thought
it.
it-
It's very, very good.
I thought, from what I saw, I thought it was only about a guy who worked with tigers. I didn't know there was this element of weird human shit. I thought he was just this wacky kind of guy.
It starts that way.
Yeah, you would think that the way they present it in the beginning is it's like, this guy's the Tiger King and he has this many tigers and he runs a Twitch stream and he's this cool and this and that. But then when you find out all the shit that's happened with his business for the last like 10 years, it dives into some weird places. It's very, very good though. I would also recommend it.
I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Check it out.
Yeah. Charlie, you're going to shit your pants just because every time they show Tampa, I know for a fact you're going to recognize every single location.
I hate that I do that too. I always point out when I recognize something in like a movie or show. It's like, oh fuck, I know where that is. Tiana, look where that is. A video camera was there once. Like, it's just such a fucking dumb way to respond to it. But I can't help myself.
No, it's the curse of growing up in a slightly populated area.
Yeah.
My girlfriend grew up in LA, so whenever we watch any movie, she's like, "Oh, I went to high school there." I'm like, "God damn it!" I grew up in the middle of nowhere. I went to college in Dallas, so the one thing I have is RoboCop, the film. Two things I have: RoboCop, and then Cheaters, the TV show, is filmed in Dallas. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. That's two in the belt for Dallas, Texas.
RoboCop, the old one or the remake?
The old one, yeah. The one that was quote unquote in Detroit. It was actually shot in Dallas for some reason.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty exciting, and that's it. So I don't get hot takes from Tiger King, but I do get to see cheaters getting busted. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, take what you can get.
That's it. That's all I get.
All right.
I don't know, do you guys
Lawrence, do we still have time?
We have a question. We have an important question.
Oh yeah, hit me.
No, we have a story. That's what I wanted to bring up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Lawrence, do you like fan fiction? And
I love it.
General fiction? Okay,
I love it.
Well, Charlie has something for you.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Wait, you mean last week I missed a piece of fan fiction?
We didn't do it last week.
I don't think we did it last week.
We didn't, yeah. So
Okay,
you're all
cool.
up to date.
Good.
Last
I'm
week,
glad I'm here.
when we left it off, so Lawrence, you may not know this, but Charlie's actually a major big-time writer. We haven't. It's not gotten picked up by Netflix or Warner Brothers or Universal Studios or Disney or any of the studios or Fox, but he's been writing some fiction, and it's called The Adventures of Noodle Man, and last we left off, Noodle Man was caught in a swamp.
Oh,
Wait, no, that's not how that works.
that's a bad place for a noodle.
No?
Whoa, you fucked up. I didn't read any of my Nutty Noodle Man. That was Drake. What are you talking about?
Drake.
Remember?
No, I remember somebody getting trapped in a swamp. That's what I remember.
No, here it was. Tick.
Yeah, it was Drake.
Tick pushed Drake off the cliff. Drake landed in that dirty swamp. It was real deep. Real deep.
It was Drake, named after Drake of the 99 Dragons, right? Yeah.
I was
Okay,
thinking
so
Josh
that's
and
what-
Drake.
So that's what, previously on Noodle Man's Adventures or whatever. Here's the continuation.
Well, you guys won't be able to see this, but I'll show it on screen for some people. I have this drawing and this title called Made Up Villains, and it's Super Spike and Major Magnet. Major is spelled Miyjor.
Major.
Major.
I don't know what this one goes to, but I'm guessing it's a Nutty Noodle Man adventure. This is chapter 4 of an unknown Nutty Noodle Man adventure, so we'll just start in there. So, shit. There we go. Nutty and Appendix said, "We have to save Noodle Land by stopping the armadillo's plan. Right, Joko? Heck no. I want to watch Sunday Night Fooey. I think I meant football. I spelled it Fooyboll. And then it's yay. Oh man, I can't resist Sunday Night Football. There we go, I got it right. What was that you said? Asked Nutty and Appendix. I said Sunday Night Football, Appendix. Hey, did you say Sunday Night Football? Yay. Don't you hear good? Appendix said. Hey, alright, that's fine with me. You guys, don't we need to save...
Okay, hang on. Did a piano fall on your head between the last fiction you wrote and this one? Because this is not even coherent. This is not even English.
It makes total sense. They're all getting together to watch Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
No, it does not make sense. The last one I could at least follow, Charlie. This one sounds like you regressed age-wise.
To be fair,
Is this older?
No, this is chapter 4. This we could have been missing crucial context. We don't know why they're here talking about Fui Boy.
What is the crucial context? English grammar rules?
That's pretty important.
For sure.
Is appendix somebody's name, or are you talking about an appendix?
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty impressive that you can spell appendix. That's a hard word.
Yeah, I mean,
Charlie, what was your age frame when you wrote this? Were you 7?
Yeah,
Six?
it was like 6 and 7. I think from like 6 to 9 is when I wrote these because I was in elementary school.
Okay.
So moving along, you guys, don't we need to save Noodle Land? Nutty said. All right, but we can watch Monday Night Football, right? Fine, Nutty said. Oh yeah, baby, we can watch. Oh yeah, baby, we can watch Monday Night Football. Woo!
What? Are you trying to be the announcer for Monday Night Football?
I think so. There's so many O's and so many A's in my yees and my woos. Good lord.
Did you get a good grade for this?
Those weren't graded. I thought that was going to be picked up by like the magic school buses or something.
I think they got picked up by the short bus.
Was that the end?
Yeah, that was the end. That was chapter 4.
That was a beautiful climax.
So to recap, they have to save
Definitely
Noodle
a
Land.
magic short bus story.
The entire conversation was we have to save Noodle Land, but we can also watch football. That was the chapter?
You actually followed it?
I think so. Yeah, that seems like a pretty important conversation.
You just gotta turn off your brain and let the emotions flow when
Yeah.
Charlie reads his
That's the
fanfiction.
You have to
beauty of it,
interpret
or
the
fiction.
intent. Divining the artist's intent through their work is one of the most delightful and rewarding things to do. And I feel that young Charlie was sitting on the floor, crayon in his fist, hammering out the screenplay. And then
On
Monday
Adderall.
Night Football came on, and that just worked its way into the story.
Well,
gracefully and elegantly.
Yeah, we don't know for sure yet. It is typed as well. I don't know if I had like a previs script or anything, but it is typed with a nice Microsoft Paint font on it. So there was clear potential there. And
Okay.
also, all of chapter 4, like half of I've showed it on screen, but half of the page is just the words chapter 4. The font is like 72. So it takes up like the good majority of the page, and it's only a paragraph and a half.
You learned how to hit page count really early on.
Yeah.
Nice.
I gamed the system in a lot of O's and A's to pad the word count. It was good work, I'd say.
Well, I'm genuinely curious now. I want to know if they watch football. Fui bui.
Well, the excitement was palpable before they did. Did you hear that classic woo?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see where that one goes.
I know when I get together with the boys to watch some football, we're all
Sad to watch the football jouer.
with me as your magnet.
Yeah. So if I'm guessing correctly, you may have picked this up in the beginning, but there was a quick mention of the armadillo's plan. That leads me to believe that this is chapter 4 of the epic that I wrote called Nutty Noodle Man versus the Army of Armadillos, which I do have chapters 1 through 3. I do have those.
Okay.
We'll save them for next time, I think.
Yes. So that's our teaser. So tell us which one you're gonna read next week, Charlie. Leave a little teaser for the listeners.
Yeah, since we already did like the teaser trailer of chapter 4 for the armadillos thing, we can go into chapter 1. Chapter 1's actually got some meat to it. It's 3 pages.
Ooh.
Wow. What's the font size on that?
It's like 48.
Okay.
1 letter per page.
Yeah.
Little Charlie was slamming the keyboard all night,
Yeah, slaved away at this one.
doubting Mountain Dew.
Had his first Mountain Dew and got amped.
I'll go ahead and get you a little interested here to tune back into Nutty Noodle Man. I'll read you the first line. Nutty Noodle Man is a regular noodle living in Noodle Land. Nutty is a very unusual noodle. So, get ready.
It's like
Unusual
SpongeBob
noodle.
wrote this.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, that's cute.
That's phonetically very pleasing to hear.
I love
Unusual
it.
noodle.
way ahead of my time, baby.
Yeah. Do we want to ask Lawrence the question?
Yeah, let's ask Lawrence
me.
the question before we wrap up.
Charlie?
Oh,
It's
is
your
Uh,
it me?
question.
Usually Jackson's been asking it.
Yeah, it's your question.
Yeah, Lawrence, just a staple question around here. Do you have any interesting masturbation stories? Any interesting tales? Well, you already told one with jerking off.
I already
to
kind of
yourself.
covered some of those. Yeah. Gosh, let me think.
What's your weirdest one? You must have a weirder one.
Then jerking off to my own dick. Gosh, let me think. I mean, there's been a couple of times of extreme duress that I've had to crank one out into a urinal.
Wow.
We've all been there. Don't worry.
Yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think apart from that. I guess maybe the weirdest thing regarding me and masturbation is how not weird it is yet. I have never in my life, to this point, ever used any kind of masturbatory aid at all. That includes lotions. That includes watermelon. Anything. It's always just been hand and dick and maybe a little bit of water. Oh well. Oh yeah. I guess porn counts, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you mean like physical
Yeah.
kind of
No accoutrement
yeah.
of any kind. It's all been in the head. It's all been digital, which is not the most exciting thing. It's the absence of excitement, I guess. Oh no, wait. Maybe I have to take that back. A couple months ago, I was just sitting on the couch, and it was like one of those days, man, where I was just vibing, not doing anything. And then, like 3 hours into my reverie of sitting on the couch and doing nothing, I was like, oh, I could just jerk off right here. I could just do this. And then like I had to get up, but I got a condom and I just laid down on the couch and was like, yeah, let's go. And it was extremely freeing. I know that other people have tasted this freedom before, but if you're wearing a condom, man, you can jerk off wherever you want and not worry about anything. It's just the total peace of mind, the serenity. I was allowed to enjoy the experience without a slight fear of accidental squirt. So that was nice. I don't know that counts as weird though. Yeah, I guess really.
I mean, just a good story. It's a good story.
Yeah, I was watching some nice TV, just very slowly, enjoying the day, sensually. Yeah, I guess really though, just pounding it to my own dick is probably the weirdest thing. So,
Well, if that's how you want to be remembered on this show,
pun intended. I shot my wad early, I guess.
Actually, yeah. How hard was it to? Did you climax? Did you come?
So there's a lot of details there. I did, of course I did. So growing, I guess this all links together. Growing up in a small town in Texas, you don't get a lot of access to adult materials, physical or internet. Had crappy dial-up at the time. Also, grew up as a very devout Christian, again, small town Texas. So I had to develop an extremely strong mental game early on in life to survive. So just through the powers of my mind, I can usually bone out and get the job done with nothing but, a dry palm and 5 minutes. So
a hero.
Thank you. Yeah, I've spent my life training for this. So I boned myself out because I feel like it. Well, actually, I guess this is a question I can throw to you guys, and sorry to extend the runtime here, but do you think it would be easier to jerk off to your own dick, hard or soft?
Hard.
I agree.
Hard.
Yeah, no, hard. That's like a sign of virility and strength.
Yeah.
I agree.
Plus, it's fucking
There's
hard.
something
easier.
more appealing about that.
Okay, good. I'm glad that our reasoning is.
Plus, then you can imagine like a hard dick actually doing something.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to
Yeah.
imagine it fucking a pussy or something, as opposed to like a little soft cock flapping in the wind.
Exactly.
Kind of shit.
Yeah, like a little
That won't get me anywhere.
3-year-old thumb thing poking out. It's gross. So I agree. So my prep was I fluffed out a little bit, took a photo, and then looked at the photo on my phone as I worked my business with my other hand, and tried to. Because you're right, I found my mind drifting to the things that this hard penis could do, and I felt like to some degree
exactly.
that was not fair to the spirit of the challenge.
Yeah, I don't. If this is a challenge, then I don't know. I don't think that's fair at all. You should have been thinking about just the penis.
I tried. I tried my best. But then the second wave hit of like, okay, I can have my eyes focusing on this, but I can also let my mind focus on the physical sensation of the masturbation as opposed to the visual stimulus that I'm getting. So I don't know what mix should have hit there, but certainly at a point my mind did shift over to the actual focusing on the physical stimulation and not the picture staring me in the face of my horribly grotesque 4-inch penis.
It sounds like you reach enlightenment halfway through.
Yeah.
I think I did. Yeah, I probably did start to glow of some sort. I did come to a number of truths about the human condition. One of which is that if you tape a leaf blower to a refrigerator, you can travel through time. But it actually didn't take that long. I assume I can only chalk it up to the marvelous digital technique that I've developed from being a deprived young child. So that's kind of what I learned through that process, is that no matter what you're looking at, I feel like to some degree, especially if you're a dude, if you have a good jerking technique down, you can usually work through anything. Because at a certain point, what's coming to your eyeballs stops mattering. It's like the shutters just get drawn on your eyes, even if you're staring directly at it. So that's tough. I feel like it would be harder, also pun intended, if I were to, well, maybe not, if I were to have to visually focus and visually and mentally dwell on the very essence of my own penis the entire time. But then how would you even, like, that's a big honor system thing. You couldn't really...
This is getting very philosophical.
Yeah.
The essence of the
terms thrown out
penis.
left and right.
Yeah.
I feel like the once you get to a certain point, it becomes impossible because your mind's just going to run away with fantasies and such anyway.
Yeah.
You can't completely stick to that.
It does require absolute mastery of body and mind. Which I think we all strive
Keep
to.
your mind trained.
Yeah, it's not about achieving it, it's about struggling to attain it.
Well, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful end to this episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank you for that heartwarming message to everyone out there.
Yeah, I encourage you all to explore similar paths yourselves.
That's what you should do now that you're you're a streamer or whatever. You're looking for new career options or whatever. You should start like a 12-step guide on how to jerk off to your own cock and teach people out there.
I could do seminars. Maybe after this Corona thing blows over, I could be at a Holiday Inn. Have a little banner up. I feel it.
Lawrence,
Motivational speaker.
tell us where people can find you.
Well, yeah, these days I'm mostly at Twitch TV/SirLar. That's my username that I settled on when I was 8 years old at a public library, and I'm not letting it go. When I went to Nintendo.com. So that's where I'm at most of the time. I post my VODs on YouTube, youtube.com/SirLar. Let me think. I would have at this point had a lot of other stuff to talk about, but Corona kind of shut it all down.
You can correct me, but I believe it's also lookatmyasshole.com.
That's
where you're
correct.
at.
Yes.
You stream daily.
Double check that. Yes, you're correct. That is
be
exactly where I am.
bastard.
Soon to also include proprietary sellmysemen.com.
Oh yeah, I think that one I already redirected. Let me check that.
It's like gagmygrandma.com or something. What are you going to buy next? We don't even know.
I wait for fecalfunny.com. That's from chat. Grab it quick. I wait for inspiration to grab me, but when it does, I grab back. That's where if you enjoy my streams are nothing but me playing video games and rambling about jerking my own dick. So if you enjoyed that, there's plenty more where that came from in more ways than one. So yeah, that's mostly where I'm at right now. I do have a couple of other projects that kind of have been delayed, so those really aren't worth talking about at the moment. But some bigger stuff involving games media and just like gaming culture and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to get moving on those. But in the meantime, just kind of grinding through my backlog and playing some hot video games.
Nice, yeah.
Nice.
All
All right, so they can go over to lookatmyasshole.com or whatever it was. And
That's correct.
Put that in the
Yes.
description.
Okay.
Alrighty, beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lawrence, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Yeah, really.
Now is the time to invest.
Invest everything you own.
Put
Everything
it
you
all
got.
in there, everything you can.
50, 60, 70,000 $1,000. Now's the time.
What do you have to lose?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, listen, we're already on red alert.
Look,
you see?
To be fair,
We're already.
hold on. I've got a new dimension to bring to this issue.
Okay,
right here.
yeah,
I've got
bring
a
it,
whole
bring it.
new dimension. If you keep the cash, right? If you stay liquid, right? You stay liquid. Toilet paper is a booming sector in the
Brilliant.
economy right now.
Wallpaper.
And
Brilliant.
so what I'm saying You take your cash, you take your dollar bills, right? They're made of cloth. They're not even. They're technically cloth. They're not really paper.
Who's gonna be using money in like 6 months anyway?
Exactly.
That's like
Toilet paper, though. I've got a prediction for you right now. 4 months from now, 10 rolls of Charmin Ultra Soft will be worth the same as 8,500 rounds of 5.56 ammunition.
Which is how much you
5.56
could have
ball
bought.
ammunition.
Which is how much
Green
you could have
tip.
bought
Green
if you
tip.
didn't wipe
Armor
your ass
piercing.
with all
Green
of your
tip.
money.
Holy shit.
Dude, we're
That's
we're
what
in
you could
trying
have.
times. I mean, look, it's very obvious money won't matter. But in the off chance that it does, why not throw all of it into like an ETF or a mutual fund, like right this second?
Or a big fire.
Just buy the dip.
Or a big fire.
Big fire, you know. If
fire.
Or a bonfire
energy
with the
company
boys.
shuts off everything, all the utilities, you know.
6 feet
I mean,
apart in
it's,
every
it's
direction.
flammable. It's cloth.
And that's
I
all it
saved
is.
someone my utility bill this month by switching to dollar bills.
Welcome to the Lunch Club podcast. I'm Cooper.
Hey,
Hey,
it's me,
Cooper.
Schlatt.
I'm Charlie.
They call me Noah.
They do.
And we're here to
Supposedly.
talk to you about investing all your stocks, all your money.
We are in trying times. Everybody is locked indoors. Businesses come to a standstill. Schools are shut down. What do we do?
It's true.
What are we doing?
Doing a funny podcast.
Funny
Yeah.
podcast,
Funny podcast.
investing.
How are we going to defeat this virus? Noah.
Well, I've been stockpiling arms and ammunition right over here. I've got,
5.56?
no. Yeah, 5.56 exactly. But here's the thing: not as good of an investment as you would think.
That's going to
because
get you
as
a
we
lot of
know,
toilet paper in a little bit.
But
Because
a few
laws
months'
are
time,
still a thing. You can't shoot anybody yet, you know?
not yet, not yet.
You can't go murdering anybody with the
in but
5.56
6
yet.
months' time, all this ammunition will be worth but 10 rolls of Charmin Ultra Soft. So really, in terms of weight, it's a bad investment. It's
That's
really
true.
just it's really just a money pit. If you're investing in arms at this point, you gotta give that like 6 more months. You know what I'm trying to say? Right
Yeah.
now, cloth products. That's
Cloth
what it's
products.
all about.
Puffs
Soft.
with lotion.
Yes. Oh, Vicks.
Ooh.
Those Vicks tissues in 3 months. Vicks futures. We're trading on Vicks futures.
Meanwhile, Noah is
Futures.
wiping his ass with ammunition.
Yep.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you the whole rundown on this corona shit.
Yeah.
Here's where it
Lay
came
it
from.
on me.
It came from Chinese city called Wuhan. You know what else is in the city of Wuhan, Charlie? Riddle me that.
What else is there?
Guess. Take one wild guess. Go on a wild goose chase throughout the streets
Is
of
it
Wuhan
geese?
and tell
Is
me
it
what you
geese in
find. It's
Wuhan?
not geese. Let me tell you something. It's not geese.
That was my guess.
No, it's
It's
not
bats.
geese.
It's bats.
Mm.
A similarly winged creature, but a carrier of this virus nonetheless. You'll also find a whole bunch of laboratories where they Noah's smiling.
Is that where they make the
No one
bats?
knows what's going on.
This
That's where
is-
they made
yeah.
the bats. That's where they set them free from. Am I wrong?
It's true.
No,
He's right.
It's where it
Look at the
started.
satellite images in Wuhan,
But 10
Charlie.
miles down the road,
The bat
10
10
miles
bat
down the
factories?
10 miles down the road, there is a genetic bat factory.
This is how the Mongols used to do it, right? They'd build giant trebuchets and toss bodies into the towns, into strongholds, right?
So we do the
Oh,
same
yeah.
in
And the
reverse.
bodies would, yeah.
Whose town should we throw bodies into?
No one's down. Vault
If
them into
you-
the
okay.
ocean.
Let me put it this way. I propose we throw the bodies into Boston, but
Well,
that's
here's
just
the
me.
thing. I think we
Oh,
all need
yeah.
to. I think we all just need to pick one.
You know the only state in the U.S. that does not have reported cases right now?
What?
West Virginia.
That's got to change.
I think we pile that state.
Why not? So
We
you
got
mentioned
mountains.
Boston, Noah. I mean, is there something there that particularly upset you?
There's a
Were
lot
you in
there.
Boston recently?
You could
And
say.
had some experiences that
You could say I've been to Boston a couple of times in the past 2 weeks, unfortunately.
Oh man.
something left a bad taste in your mouth.
The vomit left a bad taste in my mouth the first time.
So what the fuck happened
and then
at
the
PAX
second
East?
time, the string cheese left a bad taste in my mouth. Hmm?
Oh man.
I don't know
What
what,
happened
us
at
what
PAX
happened.
East? Which part? Shall I start at the beginning?
us the
Start
whole
at the, give
rundown,
me
yeah.
the rundown. Yeah.
Page
Let me
one,
start at the
table of contents.
So we fly in, right? I don't even remember who was there before us. People were there before us. It was all kind of a Kafkaesque nightmare, right?
It was Pope.
Yeah, you had a gas
James.
mask.
I did. That was not for PAX East, though. I didn't have enough room in my bag, unfortunately. In fact, I don't even have it now.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
have any
in
filters for it.
The room behind me.
But I coughed all inside it when I was sick, so none of you can use it. But anyway, we get there. It's a Kafkaesque nightmare. I hadn't slept for 2 days. I think you guys were fine, right? We got off the plane. You guys seemed all right. We got there. Everybody went to bed right when we got there. Like all tribes stayed up or whatever, and he let us in. And I laid down on this cot in the kitchen, and I slept for about maybe 15 seconds total before Mason comes over and he's like, "Hey, you want to walk to Target? It's a mile away." And I was like,
day one of the adventure lands you at Target.
I had been awake for 24 hours previous, so I was like, whatever, I guess we'll walk to Target. And then we start walking to Target, and it wasn't a mile away at all. Mason just like completely lied to me, and we walk about 2 miles in the rain, and it's about 40 degrees. And then I'm like, Mason, this is horrible. I'm calling an Uber. It was like 3.5, 4 miles away. And we get there, we come back, right? We go about our business that day. I think you guys went to the con. I didn't. I think I just rotted.
Yeah, we just grabbed passes.
Yeah, that's what I was there. Yeah. And then that night, I think it was that night. Yeah, we went to this horrible Italian restaurant that everyone working there was Russian, and I went in and I was like, "Hey, can I get an order of baked ziti? Because I saw they had ziti on the thing, which is what you would expect." And I'm like, "Yeah, can I get an order of baked ziti?" And they're like, "What is baked ziti?" And I was like,
in a Russian accent.
Yeah, and I looked at them and I was like, "How do you prepare your ziti?" I was like, "What other option is there? Like boiled
they just didn't
ziti?
understand
Like
the concept of ziti?
No." And that's what they were like, ziti parmesan. And I was like, "What?" I was like, "I've never heard of that." And I was like, "Whatever, fine." And I got it. We go back to the place, and I ate about probably 3 bites of this ziti parmesan before I realized that the chicken was severely undercooked. And I went, "Oh." I was like, "Uh-oh."
Nice.
And then so a few hours later,
ziti parmesan for you.
That's ziti parmesan. That was my first time enjoying such a niche Boston dish as ziti parmesan.
That never existed until that night.
That's not a real food.
It reminds me of the Italian comfort food we ate in Melbourne. That Travis ordered mac and cheese at this Italian place, and they served them rice with melted cheese on top, like they took a Kraft single and just drizzled it. It was awful. Funny. So if it's anything like that, I feel for you.
It was worse.
What it was like. It was a case where they just didn't understand. They had no grasp of the source material, dare I say. And so a few hours pass, I go, "Oh, this is not going to be good." But I'd been awake for like 2 days at this point, and I'm like, I can't wait to go to sleep. And I go into the room where Mason is like sprawled out on this bed, and then to the left, there's a bunk bed. Joko is on the bottom bunk, and I climb up to the top bunk, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a high pressure situation. The fan's spinning at a high rate of speed." I was just like, "Oh, I made it." I lay down, my head hits the pillow, I close my eyes, and about 15 seconds later, I go like this. I go over the side of the bunk bed one time, and I go, "Whoa." For a second, I'm like, "Oh, that was not it." I was like, "We're all right." And then I go, one more time. And then I was like, "All right." I was like, "Don't worry, fellas." It was like, "I'm coming down, I'll clean it up."
That's all of it.
Yeah, I was like, "It's done." I was like, "What's done is done. We've bottomed out. We're on the upswing." Right? And so I'm all like weak and I'm exhausted, right? And I'm like, I gotta get down from this bunk bed. And I almost like straight up belly flop off this bunk bed. Like I almost just went like face first.
God.
But I make it. I get down there and I'm like, "Oh, like this is And I look and there's
I could
just
really
this...
go for a bite of some ziti parmesan right
yeah,
now.
Exactly. And so I see the glistening puddle of ziti parmesan between me and the door, right? And I'm like, I have to traverse this obstacle, my final test, right? And I put one foot up on the bed.
The second stage of the boss fight.
Exactly.
This is big balls and Wipeout.
The stakes were raised. It is. Yes, exactly. I put one foot up on the platform. I put my hand on the top thing and I go, all right, I just got to commit to this. I was like, listen, if I hesitate, it will spell disaster for me, right? And I just went for it. I swear to you from the bottom of my heart, I was like this close to clearing the puddle of vomit, but I did not clear this puddle of vomit. And I was wearing my fucking scuffed hoodie, right? That we had gotten like 2 days before, and I hit the vomit and I slid like a cartoon character. I just went like with zero friction, and I just went boom, and just like right on my back in the middle of the puddle of the vomit.
Oh, fuck.
And I just laid there, and I was just started laughing because I was like, it couldn't get any worse. And then so I peel myself off of the floor, and Joko's just behind me in the bed. And later he told me that he could just see, he was like, he wasn't sure if I like landed in it. Then he just saw my back and he was like, oh, he's glistening. And it was like, and so then I just leaned forward. I'm like, oh my God. And then so we cleaned it up, whatever. It was all fine. And then I took an ice cold shower because our Airbnb didn't have any hot water, which is great.
Nice.
Why would it?
And then yeah, that was PAX East. That's about all that was worth talking about.
That's all
PAX
that was
East.
notable.
That's all that I remember. Oh,
Did
then
you go to the convention at all?
there was also a crypt pit. We went to the convention. We did a meetup like one time. It was great, but somebody sneezed in my eye. I got coronavirus. It was
Jesus fuck.
that was a good time. We crashed the fucking Misfits meetup. I think Cooper probably has a better perspective on that. I was delirious by this point.
Yeah, we just like went to go see what was up because they tweeted like 10 minutes before arriving at the convention center that they were doing a meetup because their live show got canceled. And so they were just in the middle of a hallway, just blocking the whole thing with fans. And so they got escorted in, like we had gotten to the hallway right as they were getting escorted into a room that was like all super nicely set up for a meetup, where we stood against the wall and had people line up and say hi and go down the line. And many people ignore all of us because they had no idea who Lunch Club was. They were there for the Misfits, but
it must have been pretty fucking awkward. You're just sitting there at the end.
There was a lot of cool people.
People are like, "Oh, what's up? These are my favorite people," and they just walk right by you.
Yeah,
you know what it felt like?
Oh,
but there was like less of that and more nice people. To be fair,
it straight up felt like being a kid.
I don't know who you are, but I'm gonna shake your hand. You know? Can I get a picture?
You get this one for free. Yeah, here you go.
It felt like being a kid when you play a sport. And you have to go down the line after the game and like shake hands. And
after
then
you got fucking mercy rolled 20 to 1.
That never happened to me. There were a bunch. Then there are those kids that are like the little piss babies that like don't shake your hand. That's what it felt like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Way too good. I like the mental image of them shaking like Fitz's hand and being like, "Man, you're my hero. I'm getting to you guys. Good game."
They're like, hell of a play out there, man. Hell of a play.
Oh,
pretty much.
Jesus.
That's good.
Yeah, but
so that was the only thing you guys did at PAX that was
we
like
did a few
noteworthy.
Things, but it was mostly just hell.
And not just vile.
No.
At
Do
one
you have
point,
anything, Cooper?
At one point, we tried to find a dispensary, and we got lost looking for 21 Milk Street, which doesn't exist. And we just sort of like walked around aimlessly with our hoods scrunched up with the wind just howling against us the whole time. That sucked ass. And then
did you prepare for the cold weather at all?
I brought a hoodie. It was all right.
Brought a hoodie.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was all right. Travis had a big puffy jacket. He was vibing the whole time. But we missed out on a fucking rare Pepe Ryan P because there weren't enough seats at the business dinner to go, but apparently he got so shit-faced that
Took
he
his
went
shirt
outside.
off at
Yeah, it was like 2 a.m. in Boston in winter or end of winter, and he had no shirt on, just screaming. So,
listen, it's 2 a.m. in Boston. The wind is chilling you to your bones, right? You feel your bones rattling within you, right? You feel your bones rattling within